All steps for man. Marching scientists for mankind.
Let's go.
Welcome everyone to the UnFuckIt discussion. All the insanity is breaking out and breaking loose. It is September 12th already, and I am feeding back through. There we go, fixed it. Okay. It's fucking September. Middle of fucking September. I don't even remember what happened to June and July, but it's the middle of fucking September. And shit has gotten really, really weird. And I know I say this every week, so really we go back to that whole thing of the usages of words, and we need to come up with some new words because the words just don't mean anything anymore. So there's a few things I want to put out here. There's a few things. So first, we just listened to a video. I'm going to start off with this one because it's just so out there. We just listened to a video of a U.S. senator saying that John McCain was put to death on CNN. So I'm going to play the 20-second clip because, first of all, I got to find the 20-second clip. So give me a second here. There it is. Rewind it back to the beginning. Okay, we're going to hit replay. Hold on, guys. Give me 2 seconds because this is like what the fuck material. I would say share computer sound. Okay. Wrong thing. No one wants to look at my emails. There we go. Okay. Are you ready? So we're going to listen to this again.
Congress, though, it's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. And look at this circus of a hearing. Congress, though, it's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. And
it's been 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. Now, we all know that John McCain was the worst of the worst when it comes to fuckers, or at least of the middleman fuckers anyway. There was not much worse of any sociopathic, psychopathic, disgusting human beings on the planet as there was that falls under the name of John McCain. There have been rumors, obviously, when it was announced that he had cancer and he had a brain tumor, etc. I had my little thing like, oh, really? Isn't that convenient? He's going to die. Isn't that convenient? Can't stand trial for treason and crimes against humanity if you're dead. And of course, those have also, there's been hypothesized that it was all faked and that he was just, wished away. Like he escaped and he went to some little hideout and the whole thing. Or was he put to death? Now, we just had this huge discussion. We've all been discussing it in here. A slip of the mouth. The guy says something he wasn't supposed to, right? The senator says he didn't mean to say that. It just kind of came out, a little bit of transparency splat on the table. Except that wouldn't CNN make sure that that piece never aired, even if it went out live, they have a 30-second gap on all live to be able to stop and prevent shit like this from happening. Second of all, did the guy interviewing him actually react at all to the statement that John McCain had been put to death? And third of all, like I said, the video's still out there. The video's still out there. So that says to me, honestly, I agree with JC, John Carl, that this was planted. This was a deliberate piece. They're going to plant this piece out there to the public. We're going to just put this out there for the public. Here's a little snip. He's been put to death. And then just let it sit and see what happens. I don't know. Really, really, really fucking interesting, to say the least. Really, really fucking interesting. I'll keep a little closer eye on this shit. We've had whoa. I don't know who that was. So we've had the rumors, and it started in 2013. 2013, we had all this shit happening where people started wearing pantsuits and, casts over feet. And we joked even back in 2013, it's to cover up their fucking their fucking ankle bracelets trackers that they have on. I don't know. We've seen a lot of that again too. So we'll have to see what's going on. It's interesting. And we can get into that maybe later. But I want to touch on some of the other weird shit that we had this week. So we had a massive geomagnetic storm again this week. Started Monday around 4 p.m. UTC and went until Tuesday night. Not quite as big as the one that was at the end of August, which it reached a KP7, a G3. This was a KP6, G2. Still, it was a pretty good storm. What makes it interesting is the coincidental stuff that happened around it. So, for example, the Schumann resonance went off the charts for a day and a half. Huge white curtained out images coming from the Schumann resonance. So you say, okay, well, that's interesting. You have the Solar Observatory in New Mexico get suddenly closed down for no one knows to this moment. So it's now been how many days? Can someone help me out here? How many days has it been closed for? Like 6 days. It's been about a week. Yeah, 6 days. In 6 days, there's been no official explanation of what it was closed for. No one will give them any information. Even the local sheriff is spitting nails. He's so pissed that no one will tell him what the hell's going on. All they know is the FBI showed up, Solar Observatory evacuated, cordoned off with like crime scene type yellow tape, and no one's allowed to go back. Well, at least not yet. So my immediate thing, the very first thing that came to my mind was, what's going on that they're afraid someone's going to see through the observatory? Is there something going to happen? Are they expecting something to? Oh, that's right. And the Black Hawk helicopters as well. Thank you, Ann. The Black Hawk helicopters all coming in. And my immediate thought was, are they evacuating it to make sure that no one on the staff sees something they're not supposed to see? And if there's something they're not supposed to see, what is it was going to happen? Something solar related? Yeah, Dawn.
And I'm going to reference Linda B on this because she just commented about this. But there was a story that came out saying the Chinese had somehow managed to utilize one of the antennas on that thing and was using it to spy on white sand. That came out.
Okay. But again,
I know. That's the only one. Linda B
just
knows.
Conveniently, I'm sorry, but like that's the whole American response. Blame the Russians. Blame the Chinese. Blame someone else. It's always spying. It's always something else. It's a little too convenient. Given the fact of A, Schumann resonance goes off the charts. B, geomagnetic storm. Oh, and C, what was caught on the SDO. And Doppy, thank you for posting that video. WSO, Stephen Olson on WSO, did a little video. It's a 10-minute video. I'll make sure I'll put it in here with the archive. So first we see during the geomagnetic storm, when you look at the magnetopause, and I rewatched the footage about 7 times. And like Steve and the guy who does the original video about the magnetopause footage, I've never seen this before. Never seen this before. And that is, you see the geomagnetic wave come in, the geomagnetic storm coming in, and the magnetopause around the Earth all of a sudden goes boom. It's like a discharge. And you see it, even the line that you see, because you always see like there's the Earth, and then you always see the bow line that kind of shows you the magnetic shield. Whatever this was, and like I said, I'm using the word discharge very purposefully, it was all the way around on all sides, and it actually went through the magnetopause, and you could see the ripples of it on the outside. I have never, ever seen anything like this before. At the same time, on one of the SDO viewers, which shows you the sun, so you got the camera up in space, you've got the sun, and it's showing the sun. So then they see an eclipse come by on one day. It happens. The moon sometimes crosses paths. We've had tons of videos about this kind of shit over the last few years where people get hyped up. Oh my God, something passed in front. No, it's just the moon. It depends on it. Except the second day, the same thing happens again, except if this is the sun, an eclipse shape comes down here, disappears, and then comes back at a completely different angle going in the opposite direction. And that, my friends, ain't the moon. Unless the moon's really drunk, like really, really fucking drunk, it ain't the moon. There's no explanation you can come up with according to any kind of NASA fucking logic that could explain sorry, this very obvious thing going across the sun. So we have all these things all happen within 2 days of each other. I'm sorry, I don't believe, I read the whole thing about the Chinese. I read there was another story that came out again about something else. It was like security breach, that it was like someone had hacked a computer, blah, 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 blah. Right, because you need to evacuate the facility, the entire facility, because someone hacked their computer? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. 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 Sorry. So, whatever the fuck was going on this week, holy shit, some weird ass shit going on. And you just sit there and go, yeah, okay, Bassy, you're right. Trouble with the moon, moon, moon. Every time I keep saying the moon, yeah, okay. And Penny, you're right, because the sheriff said in all the interviews it was not a spy issue. That's what the sheriff said. Now, I'm sure he said what he was supposed to be told to say, but at the same time, there's a lot of other little quotes from him about how fucking pissed off he is that no one's telling him jack shit. So, I don't know. And now we've got, just to distract the public, you have a major hurricane bearing down on the United States. I don't know if it's made landfall yet. Has it made landfall yet? And it hasn't even made landfall, and Washington, D.C. is already calling a state of emergency. Seriously? Bunch of fucking pussies in the fucking Capitol calling state of emergency. It hasn't even gotten there yet. Hasn't even reached fucking Massachusetts or anywhere else it was supposed to hit, or the Carolinas. It hasn't even gotten there yet. Seriously. And they're already calling a state of emergency. In preparation for something? Hurricane Sandy, 2012. I'm telling you, was used as an excuse, and all the intel that I had at the time, that the whole thing with Hurricane Sandy was it was directed directly at New York because they needed an excuse to shut down the stock exchange and the Federal Reserve because they had shit that they needed to clean up and do. So, I don't know. Washington, D.C. declaring a state of emergency and nothing's even fucking happened yet? Like, is this, again, I'll build it all up? Is something going to be going down? I don't know. Interesting. So,
I've seen some weird stuff over the weekend.
Like what?
Okay, so it was what looked like to be a cloudy day. With rain and all that. And so one period it was like, still gray out. So I put the dog out, but then I decided to go on my back porch and look up at the sky for some reason. So I'm looking up, and in blotchy parts, I'm seeing the sky flicker.
Like lights like
gray,
this?
No, it was like, I've seen that before, but I've seen it where it was like flickering gray to blue, gray to blue, gray to blue, gray to blue, like in patchy areas. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, something's going on with the whole projection system.
Yeah, exactly. The HD screen pixels are burned out in a couple of areas, and they're having some trouble maintaining the image, the background image.
But no, I have seen the flickering where, just look up at the sky and it's like flick, 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 flick. It's like when you used to like watch your parents' old RCT, like when it was fucking going, you know what I mean? When it was like,
The old tube TVs, and you
yeah,
watch an old black and white movie. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the reason I asked that is because it was really hot yesterday. And after dinner, we took all the kids down to the beach, and we were really late getting down, so we literally were getting down there. The sun had gone past the horizon. So it was light still, but it was dusk. And everyone go for a swim, go cool off. And I didn't go in, but I was sitting on the beach. So I'm facing across the water, across the bay, and there's the mountain hill, whatever you want to call it, behind, and the sun sets behind there. And there's no sun, there's not even a sunset. Like the colors are gone, it's just that gray. And I was watching, the light was just flickering, like flicker, 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 flicker. Everywhere you looked, the light in the sky was like flickering. I was like, oh, someone's blow out a candle.
One more thing. So I wake up in the morning, like maybe this was like Friday or some other day, I can't quite remember because time just, there's this fucking weird shit. So I get up. It's almost like 7 in the morning. It's still fucking dark out. Like the sun has not fucking come up when it's Dad's like, oh, it must be because of the time change. No, we haven't even gone through the whole, time shift change, with the whole clock change, that. No, it wasn't normal. It was like, as someone didn't set the sun's freaking alarm clock to get freaking up, Yeah,
we've noticed that it's like, okay, we're in the middle of September.
I'll mute myself now.
No problem, Earl. Thank you. We've all of a sudden, it's like kind of like the sun. So June 21st, by technical scientific standards, June 21st is the longest day of the year. So you build up with them getting longer to June 21st. It holds you up for 3 or 4 days, and the days start getting shorter. All of August, you notice it a little bit, right? As we go from the beginning of August to the very end of August. But it seems like since we've hit September, it's like all of a sudden it's gone from, like I said, we took the kids at 7 o'clock at the beach, and it was already past sunset. And I sat there, was like, but wait a second. Like, how did that happen? Because literally just 2 weeks ago, we were going out on the front to sell, and we'd go once it was dark, and it was like 8:15. And that was only 2 weeks ago. So, like, that doesn't even, very, very strange. Very, very strange shit, my friends. Very, very strange shit.
Even I noticed that, like, 2 nights ago, where it's like, it's 8 o'clock, and it's like, wait, it shouldn't even be starting to get darker. It should be starting to get darker more at the end of the month and into October. That's when we really notice it. We should be really noticing that now. Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, really, really fucking weird. And I'm gonna joke. I haven't been on the computer much for the last week. I kind of get up in the morning. I do my shit that I have to get done. I go through the Unfuckers group as best I can because Facebook is fucking broken right now. It actually has been for a while, but it's fucking broken. Go through the Facebook group as best I can. And then I'm off and I'm doing stuff. I've been really, really busy. I literally had to laugh the other day. Who am I feeding back through? Hold on. There we go. So I had to laugh the other day because I'm sitting there. I get online. I go look through all my messages, and I've had some really funky messages from people lately. People who are noticing all kinds of stuff, little Mandela effect shit, but like personal shit within their own lives. There's been a whole whack of that in the last week. And, I've completely forgotten where I was going to go with this. I started off, I was going somewhere specific, and now look at that, brain wipe. Brianna, they did it again. They just wiped my brain again. I hate that. I was going somewhere specific with this. Now I can't remember where I was going to go. Oh well. It'll come back to me.
Did you see the video that we posted of the two rainbows that we walked right out of the beach house. We were right on the beach, and it was a huge, what do you call those?
Double rainbow.
Well, yeah, I guess a rainbow, and it stayed for 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah, I did.
And it literally is going down in the water. I mean, we just watched it, and then a second one formed, and it was huge, Danny.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the video.
My wall, Danny. It's on my Facebook page.
I'll go take a look tomorrow then.
It's on my wall.
Okay. Did you tag me?
Yes.
Okay, so it's on my wall.
I think I tagged Danny too, for that matter.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not getting any tags. I'm not getting any fucking notifications. Half of the Unfuckers group posts are not showing up for me. Like, I literally go through the group, and then I go to my wall, and I have to go through my wall to find the rest of the posts. I had 3 people send me messages yesterday saying, hey, did you read the post that I put up? And I'm like, no. Send me a link to it. And I had literally had to have a link to go find the post, even though it's in my group.
Well, it was profound. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah.
And last night, I'm on the top floor. They're in the back side of the house, 2 bedrooms. A storm hit last night at like 2 in the morning, 2:30, and the chair slammed into the freaking sliding glass door loud, and I freaking jump up. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know, I mean, it was really something. We couldn't go back to sleep for a little while after that.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a little scary.
Yeah, but you may still have some have you dealt with the hurricane last year at this time? Excuse me. Yeah, and I'm getting fucking sick again, so I'm really, really pissed at the moment. It's like, seriously, I'm not amused with this.
Hey, Maurice just tagged you in that video just now.
Okay, well, we'll see if I actually get the tag. Oh, wait, if you tag me, it should come up on my wall, right? Then I should find it. I should be able to find it. So, yeah. Weirdness fucking abounds everywhere. There is so much ridiculousness going on at the moment that there's no fucking words. And I just literally have had yet another week of just been like, I have to just keep focusing on the now and like myself and the family and the here stuff. Like, I'm sorry, but not the cyber stuff, not the online stuff, which is why I haven't been online as much. Because it's the only thing that's like tangible right now that you can kind of hold on to. Like, things feel so fucking weird and all over the place. It's like, okay, if I just go do some cooking. I was I'm gonna make soup today because it's something I can do and physical. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, sit there, chop shit up, put it in the pot, add the seasonings. Okay, now what else can I do? I'll go wash floors. My kitchen has never been as clean as it is right now ever because I've like cleaned it every single fucking day.
Yeah, because we've been bombarded with frequencies from, it's getting crazy at the moment. Like you said, at this magnetosphere graph you saw on what's the name again? Blue Cool 8 oh yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
VSO, they work together, kind of like a truth community. And I must tell you honestly, when was it last Friday or something, when we had that big spike for like 4 or 5 hours, completely wiped out. Yeah.
In the Schumann resonance,
I thought I was gonna die, man. My heart was like palpitating, and I had all kind of weird.
There was a few people who felt that. The couple people that I know who really,
that's what
really
I wanted to ask, if anybody else had, like physical symptoms, and even mental symptoms, so fuck me, I'm dying, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's getting fucking.
And it seems to be connected with the planet and this magnetosphere. So as soon as there comes a backdraft energy into the Earth's magnetosphere, and all this, you see all these wires or these stripes go haywire, completely nuts, man. I never saw it so mad. You know, completely crazy.
Well, I mean,
there is
geomagnetics
definitely-
affect us. Well, this is scientific fact.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
scientific fact. During geomagnetic storms, your body reacts because we have our own magnetic field. And if everything of the larger, more powerful magnetic field is fluxing all over the place, so is ours. And it has literally physical effects on the body. It's a proven and well-documented piece. Strange sleeping, yeah. Everyone. I've got a bunch of people, JC, like you, who said that they couldn't sleep or they've completely switched patterns. In the last week, last couple of weeks, it's been building, but I haven't been to bed before 2 o'clock in the morning, even one night. And there's been several nights in the last week where I've laid in bed reading a book in a desperate attempt to put myself to sleep because my eyes are so bad. I have to strain so much to read, even with my glasses, that it makes you tired. Do you know what I mean? Like it physically makes you tired with the reading. Sunday night, I read an entire book. It was only like a 250-page book, but I read an entire book. I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning. And finally, at that point, I was like, okay, you have to go to sleep. So just turn off the fucking light. You finish the book, and now you just got to try. Yeah, my glasses are fucked. Penny, none of my glasses work anymore. I literally pulled out every pair of glasses that I have. My 2 pairs of cheap reading glasses and my really expensive prescription reading glasses. None of them work anymore. None of them work. And I'm waking up at like 9 o'clock in the morning. That's just unheard of for me. Like I never wake up. I am up at 7. And today I was up at 7, but I went to bed early last night. It was like, I went to bed at 1:30. So that was early last night. I was up at 7. But everyone's sleep seems to be really, even my kids, their sleep schedules are really all over the place. My 11-year-old, he cannot go to sleep before midnight. He can't. Even if I give him some melatonin. Half the time he's up and he just can't sleep.
So we're definitely affected by these incoming energies all the time. In Rose perspective, they call it whiteouts.
Yeah.
And it might kill off all the lower frequency beings. It might just kill them all off.
I don't know. I'm gonna look at it more the practical and just say like it is what it is. It is what it is, and all we can do is ride through it. It's like being in the middle of the ocean on a rubber dinghy, and all we can do is just hang on and just keep riding the waves.
Yeah, but it's funny that the Earth react with this Schumann. So you have an incoming force, and then immediately the Schumann's peaks and pushes it away again. Or tries to push it away because it doesn't always work.
The Schumann wasn't at the same time, though. The Schumann resonance wasn't at the same time as exactly as what we saw happening with the magnetopause. But cause and effect. We don't know what cause and effect is. We have no idea. It could be that the Schumann resonance was the ripple back from that. You have this massive discharge, and it ripples back, and you have this, an effect that's in the frequency of the planet because it's got to show something. You'd think.
And then you have all this earthquake shit going on, and tectonic plates movements, and hurricanes, and probably all connected. Then, isn't it?
I don't see how it cannot be connected.
The electrical universe.
Yeah, the electric universe, exactly. The electric universe stuff. It's all interconnected.
Even when you look at a lot of the mapping models that like Dutch Synths and who else am I looking at? I don't know now. There's so many of them. It's kind of like when they spread the map out, it's like you can see all these earthquakes along this sort of line, I think it is. And then coming up this side is all these hurricanes. So here you've got all this terra firma action, which I kind of call cold because just of the way that sort of electricity and shit works. And then you've got this discharge almost on the other side that's atmospheric. So you've actually got these counterparts. And when you watch like Dutch Synth, he'll talk. He can show you where earthquakes are going to go off and where the big ones are, and then where they intersect, and the smaller ones go through.
Yep.
He's pretty good at it as well. Dutch sense
Exactly.
is better than the American. What are they called?
USGS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, way
That's
better, way better, and been
You know,
doing it
that's
for way long. And
right.
there's a lot of them out there too. And when you start looking at the solar stuff, right, it gets very interesting. So like that thing you were talking about, it was that the WSO recorded.
Yeah, that conic view you had, you know, like that conic
that pulse. What kind of is that? Is that geomagnetic?
Yeah,
The
it's a magnetic. It's the magnetopause. So it's showing the magnetic fields.
Yeah. So it's showing hot and cold. So you see the blue areas, right, all around it. And then when those pulses come through, you've got those yellow and red flashes. So that's a heat discharge, which is what I see is a positive discharge coming out.
Yeah.
So
but you can see like straight lines.
But then so the planet goes blue again, right? Which is cold. So it's like it's gaining a charge in positive ions or positive electricity, and that's what it uses to pulse. Because once you pulse that out, just as much negative comes back in. Because you remember, one direction, something else is coming back in regardless. So when you start looking at it from that electrical universe side of it, it's the same with the storms and the hurricanes and the hail that's been going off. It's like it starts like you're polarizing, and you actually, it starts making a whole lot of sense. And I'm starting to like really see that a lot of the myths and legends and are literally scientific jargon. And what they're telling us is the shit's going on. So like when you look at the electrical universe in the way that, oh fuck, I'm gonna not get his name. Someone got to get his last name, starts with V. And I think he wrote the book, The Electrical Universe.
Velikovsky.
Velikovsky.
There we go.
So and you read the dance of the planets, and not as in an orbital way, but as in like a positive and negative display. We have no fucking idea how these things move. It's just they've been settled in this spiral for a little while.
Yeah.
So when you get two massive giants that we know aren't just gas, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got atmosphere and all sorts. So like like I say, it's like when you look at what Dollard and the dude who invented the TV and all that, what they discovered, and Wallace Thornhill and all these guys, it's like they were starting mini galaxies in gaseous vapor. So what the potentials of what's going on is like, it can be kind of freaky, but it's like it's not at the same time, because us as a species have potentially survived for eons, and we've recorded it for eons. So like things like that Earth and it's like the moon literally could on a discharge line go whoa like this. I'm not saying that was the moon, but the potential is actually there. The other thing is you really very rarely hear these people talk about that second moon. Remember, we have two moons now, and we don't know, like, how does that move? Is that in conjunction on the other side? Does it go, you know, like, so the way that the charges and discharges work, it's like when you start correlating the sun solar flares or the magnetic discharges, and then the giant earthquakes that happen, and then the smaller ones, which are the ripples from, and then the charge of fire and the coldness of pristine water being 4 degrees. You've got this whole flip that nature, like these massive storms that are coming in, could literally be being drawn in from a charge that a quake has created, so that it builds a big enough storm so that it gets far enough inland to douse out the positive charge being created by the heat.
But I also said that for me, it's also like it's catch-22 and chicken and the egg. Which came first? Because are we seeing these massive negative charges, like you say, like so, and then followed by it, because it's like this. It is like peaks and waves. Because even so, right now we're in the hurricane season for the U.S. For the U.S., the Caribbean, this is the hurricane season, right? But those hurricanes are happening all year round. Like down in the Philippines, over in Japan, like on the other side of the world, those hurricanes are happening in the summer, they're happening like in our spring, etc. So are they like these waves, kind of like the same thing of like positive, negative, or hot, cold, if you want to even look at it that way. High pressure and low pressure. I don't know.
I think it's manipulated.
No, I don't. I think we're seeing what is. I think we're seeing exactly what is and what this planet does. And because I do not give these fucktards the power or the even remotely the consideration that they may even slightly have the power to pull off the shit that we're seeing right now. No, they're not that powerful. They wish. They fucking wish they could do this shit. No. I think they're running around putting out as many proverbial fires as they can, so to speak, because they can't control this shit. They can't. There's no fucking way. And the shit that we're seeing now is on such a, pardon the pun, such a magnitude that you can't, this isn't man-made stuff. This is cyclical. This is a cycle. This is the more, and like I said, the more I look into the Electric Universe series stuff, this is a cycle. And it's a cycle that we've been through before. And, you know, we've got like all kinds of old written records in petroglyphs and all these kinds of things that talk about these things. So
What cycle are you talking about? This 3,500 year cycle?
what's time? Does it really matter how long the cycle is? That's big. When we get caught up in these things like it's a 3,500 year, it's a 26,000 year, it's a 200 million year. It doesn't really matter. Like the matter is that we know it's a cycle. We've seen it come through. History is fucking nothing. We know nothing about our history. That's what we were talking about before we even went and started recording here. We don't know what fucking history is. Like we were joking about the whole Roman thing. I was like, I don't even believe the Roman thing fucking existed. At this point, everything in history that we're told is history. Fucking bullshit. Bullshit. Because there's just no fucking proof anymore. It could be, like I said, it could be a simultaneous fucking construct that's right next to us that's playing out the Roman legions right now.
Well,
Like the Aztecs are over here, and the fucking the Incas are, and we got the fucking the Norse gods over here doing their Asgard thing. That's pretty much it.
Also, chuck in there like when you get into the Electric Universe, it's like their documentary that they created, Thunderbolts of the Gods. It literally starts off with like, what if there was a force that was a billion times stronger than gravity? So when you contemplate that for a minimum of like, I don't know, 120 years maybe, something like that, 150 years, that gravity has been the basis for every fucking model, literally, like from building to flight to
pretty much it plays a part in every fucking scientific theory ever fucking made.
And there's this whole other force out there that like, you know, is kind of far more in control than gravity kind of has ever been, regardless of the last 120, 150 years. It's like...
That's when you come to the sudden realization that we know fucking nothing.
Exactly. Which is like why we have to keep looking at nature for the answers, because the motherfuckers keep lying.
But
and with new eyes all the time, not in judgment of what you know. That's the big thing.
Exactly. And every single scientific theory that has fucking been put out has been based on a theory. It's been based on the theory of mass. It's based on the theory of relativity. It's based on the theory of gravity. None of these have ever been proved. None of them. Not one. Now, Maxwell Planck, one of Planck's constants has just been overturned last week. Shit, which one is it? It's not time, it's not measurement, it's Planck's constant of...
I think, was it of gravity? I thought
Nope.
Matter.
It was about nuclear...
Wasn't it matter? Something to do with matter?
Nuclear degradation of matter, like radio... Oh, I'm going to just kick myself because we read this and I had a huge conversation on this because it was like, this is very, very interesting. When now Planck's constants are, again, another one of those things that are like quoted as like, oh, you can't question this because it's Planck's constant. No, it's a fucking theory is what it is. It's a fucking theory. And one of his theories just got completely blown out of the water just in the last couple of weeks. So you have theories built on theories, built on theories, built on theories, and they're all accepted as fact. Basically, it comes down to, we know jack shit. And those guys over there, the talking heads, they know less than jack shit because at least we have our eyes open and we're watching and trying to analyze all the pieces that are in front of us. Where these guys who are walking around like this doing their fucking studies, you're just like, oh my God. Seriously.
Well, on top of that too, there was a whole bunch of sort of more private individuals, much like Tesla and Keeley and all these sorts of guys, that created all this fucking fantastic technology, and it was sideswiped by, you know, the sort of powers that be. So I'm sitting here watching like how all this tech has sort of gone missing, and I'm like, these motherfuckers really have no idea. Like, they can't properly reverse engineer alien technology because they can't figure out how the fucking insect bodies have to be so small and they run the fucking machines from their fucking biorhythms, right? And yet Keeley could turn devices on exactly by doing that. Walking in the room, he didn't have to be a motherfucking insect, right? No. And then you've got, like I say, you got Schauberg and all this sort of stuff, and the powers that be are all gobbling it up and then sequestering it, and whether they're putting it on the shelves or not, who knows? But like, this is like, even the insider stuff that comes out sits there and says that, like, oh, they can't figure this bit out, but this part's from it and this part's from it, you know. They really have no idea. So, you know, we kind of got to just watch them and compare it to what nature's actually doing, not give them as much credit for doing what's actually going on, because the potential is like I say, there's this thing that's a billion, and it's natural. It ain't motherfucking theirs.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But you said it first, and you said, okay, first of all, just to verify, it was Planck's law of radiative heat transfer. Thank you. That was it was like, I was trying to come up with it. I couldn't come up with it. But you said it, okay? We look to nature. We look to, I'm sorry, and scientists would fucking heads would blow off, cause and effect. When I'm mixing product, I test on myself. So if I have a cough, then I start mixing stuff, and you sit there and you start mixing stuff, and you go through the motions of mixing until you find what works, and then it works, and you go, hey, look, that one fucking works. Now, do I need a fucking study? We laugh in, like I said, maternal and infant health shit all the time. My old friends who are still on my Facebook pages, we laugh all the time because they'll do like a $300,000 study to prove that, for example, breech babies should be do better off born vaginally than they do by cesarean section. No shit, Sherlock. What, it took you $300,000 in studying 20,000 cases to figure out something that every fucking mother knows instinctively? Hello, you're a bunch of fucking retards. Let's just throw some more money away. You do a study that's like says, you know, to prove something that everyone already fucking knows. You already fucking know because you know it makes sense. Is this natural way to do it? This is not the natural way to do it. Gee, what's going to work better? Oh, it's going to be the natural way of doing it.
But
And we
that's
see
like,
that we have to look at nature. We have to look at use our own eyes and study it ourselves. Now, some of the shit, like Planck's constants, yeah, we don't have the equipment to be able to maybe break it down to fucking nanoparticles and picoseconds and all the rest of this shit. But when it comes to nature and what we observe, we need to be able to do this ourselves.
it fucking shows you.
Yeah, I was
It's
going to say though.
exactly.
Hey Ben, I was going
It
to say real
fucking
quick what you
shows
were
you.
just saying that that's what we've been talking about off and on for a while, for over time anyway. It's like the whole anything that's natural they're against, basically.
Yeah,
I would say that anything natural they don't comprehend
no,
because it doesn't fit. Like what you're saying there, it's like cause and effect. It's like
you don't get cause and effect.
like their equations actually take cause and effect out.
And throw it away.
Like
How can you do that and actually study something?
Well, this is the whole thing, right? It's like they probably sat there going, ha, those fucking dudes that used to draw on fucking rock walls and disregard anything that they say of how anything used to be. This is how it is. And then they're like, oh, shit. And now they're really scrambling going, oh, fuck.
And what Ben said about them, like back engineering ET UFOs, I said, how can we expect them to back engineer when they can't even reproduce what they did to get to fucking moon? It's like okay.
Exactly, Earl. Exactly. It's like you look at, like I say, Schauberger, right? With I think it was like in his like late 70s, early 80s, still without anything, managed to make a free energy device, which, in his own words, didn't work to what he would have liked. But he bent the fucking poles himself. He didn't have a machinery thing to do it by that stage, but it produced energy. So, like, you give him the capabilities to have it more pristine to what he would like, and it worked when he had it. So these guys, they might be able to replicate that, but he did that without a UFO fucking crash by watching a salmon climb a fucking waterfall. Like, it's hilarious. Tesla. It's like that was the other thing. Sorry, on that WSO report, he goes into Tesla's one of his last interviews, and Tesla says that he didn't get to achieve his thing, which was to make the planet shine like the sun.
Me one thing here. Okay.
Yep.
I have to interject here and say
yes
that interview has never been proven to exist. It has never been conclusively proven to be factual, to be real. And I did a fuck ton of research. I tried to find anything because at that point I was like, it was in 2015. I was huge into fucking Tesla. We were studying everything on Tesla, and I went everywhere, and I could not find conclusive proof that it was accurate. So that's my proviso. I just want to put it there.
That's the first point. The second point being is Tesla never said that the Earth would be the sun. He said it contained enough energy.
Energy, exactly.
So, it's quite funny. It's like, Schauberger built the best log flume in the world and all that kind of stuff. Tesla created a DC fucking power plant on Niagara Falls. Like, these guys didn't have government. They didn't have UFO. Well, I'm not going to say they didn't have UFO interaction. but
Just saying.
they didn't have
They didn't have like
a
electron
Roswell. They didn't have a
microscopes.
Roswell.
Yeah,
a
they
Roswell.
didn't have. Yeah.
And it's still happening. It's still ongoing. You know, unless let's just say that Elon Musk is the disclosure of all that technology, and that's what the Tesla company actually is. But hey,
We should talk about the Elon Musk thing, because that was the other thing. We were actually going to do it all on Elon Musk tonight. If you guys have not seen it, I will find the interview and I will make sure I link it in here. Joe Rogan did a 2.5-hour interview with Elon Musk. Now, I've been following Elon stuff for on and off for years, right? And I've watched him on TED Talks and videos of this type. This is the first one I've ever seen him on that is that very relaxed, close up. Do you know what I mean? Like close up. Not him standing 40 feet away on a podium with a bunch of cameras in his face, where you can't really. This gave us an opportunity, in my opinion, to actually, Elon, to study Elon. Some very interesting shit. Now, I did not get a chance to finish watching the video. I was supposed to do that, and instead I watched a movie with the family tonight. Oops, sorry, everyone. But watching him, his facial expressions, his eyes, his energy, if you will, there was so much going on behind like what he was saying. And there was at one point where he was talking about, for example, I mean, the whole thing about the flamethrower, I just about peed my pants. I was laughing so hard when he was talking about the developing and selling the not a flamethrower. I literally laughed my ass off. Helena, we were supposed to, and then it was like 2.5 hours. So I thought maybe we'll do a separate, like an actual separate one where we'll sit down all together, like maybe tomorrow night, the next night, something like that. We'll do it. It was just, there was so much going on this week. I was like, there was so much more to talk about.
I've been dying to watch it, but I thought I'll hold off until.
No. We will, and we will set a time. Maybe JC, you and I can sit down and figure out a schedule, like between your schedule and my schedule, because I want to do this, and we'll maybe do like as a special presentation thing.
I watched the bit Doppy put up, and I really wanted to watch the rest, but I just thought I'd hold off.
So there's apparently some in the middle. There's some real boring shit that goes on, blah 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 blah, whatever shit that we're not really interested in. But for a man who is as involved as he is right now on all levels, from everything from energy, cars, rockets going into space, digging tunnels under LA, making not a flamethrowers. This man is highly connected, and watching him is interesting. Even if you just really study his facial expressions as he's going through it, there are points when he's saying stuff and you can see him pause, and you can see the words are fighting to come out. Like he's like, okay, how do I say this? How do I say it? Like there was a shit ton of shit that he wanted to say, that he could have said, that he wasn't allowed to talk about, and you could see it fighting in his face to actually come out.
Danny, did you see his eyes moving?
Okay, but you know what? Okay, I wanted to point this out to people. Okay,
I know.
I want to point this out to people because I had a whole pile of people going, he's a clone, he's already been hooked up.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that.
That is an autism thing. Okay, that is a very high-functioning autism thing.
Yeah.
If anyone has ever had a good close friend who's very high-functioning autism, and I've got several, they do that. And it is a concentration. It's almost like do I want to go there? Yeah, okay, sure, why not? Okay, so Heather Tucci Giraffe used to do something very, very similar to that. And she used to talk about something about seeing the screens, that she could see the screens. And sometimes you'd see her and she'd look off into space, and you could tell by her eyes that she was reading something. And it's not, how do you say that? I didn't understand it until I started seeing it myself. And it was back 2013 when I started having those moments where you see, but you don't see, and you can't say it's seeing. It's not like something comes up in front of you and you're reading off of it. It's like information coming in, and it's processing information coming in. I'm personally have an opinion that it comes from another part of the consciousness. Another part of your consciousness is feeding information forward, as it's like calling up a file. Like you've got all your files back here that have been archived, and you need a piece of information, and that the piece of information you need comes forward, and you absorb it, you bring it in, and then you put it out. When I watched him, that's what it was like. It was like he was retrieving information from those files, and then but before he could put it's like the information came out, but then he had to analyze it real quick and figure out what the hell he was actually allowed to say. And I'm really big about watching people's mouths when they speak, and you could see his mouth fighting, literally fighting to force the words out in a way that was going to be acceptable to not say shit. It was amazing to watch. It was, so yeah, we will sit down a little later, the Unfuckers, and we'll watch it. I'm going to try and have a chance to go through and finish it off myself, so I could, if we have sections in the middle that he's talking about fucking Tesla car, because who the fucking cares about the Tesla cars?
He's connected, but not in a dark way. I don't feel. That's one thing I do not feel from Elon Musk. He's not connected like how, politicians are connected. Like, he's not in the dark he has a light connection, but I don't see him having a dark connection.
I'm not willing to say light or dark or anything at this point because I don't know him. And watching a video and reading a book and reading articles and we can all jump to conclusions. I'm not, but there is something about him.
I was going to say real quick too on that. Yeah, you mentioned something about the way he speaks. It just hit me just within the last minute, just now. It's like, you see, seems to struggle to get the words out, or he's wanting to say more, like you said, than he's allowed to. And it's just to me how he seems clenched up. A lot of times he just seemed clenched up.
Very guarded. And that's, I know that look. I have had enough conversations with people, whether it was when I was doing Intel, things like that, where you have enough conversations with people to be able to read when they are really guarded in what they're saying because there's shit that they can't tell you. And you can see it. It's like something that happens around the mouth when it's like I say, it's almost as if the mouth, pardon me, subconsciously or unconsciously, I guess is a better term, the mouth is almost unconsciously trying to give you the words. But they can't, like they control it and they only put out the words they're supposed to give. It's interesting. And yeah, his brain works very, very differently. And that's.
He said also that he was afraid when he was a 5-year-old kid and he had like Tesla-like ideas already when he was 5, so that means he taps in a tremendous source of information, which we cannot. So yeah, that autism makes sense, and he also was afraid to be locked up because people thought he would be crazy. He said that in that interview.
Huh?
And that might be the reason why why he has this. I want to say it, but it's not political correct, or I have because apparently his shares of his company fell like 20% or something after they saw him smoking a joint.
Oh yeah, I think it's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, Doppy, yeah, exactly. When you said that, yeah, Doppy, when you said that just now about Elon mentioning about like he was 5 and 6 years old, having that in his head, and yeah, like you said, he was afraid of being locked up or something even as a kid.
Well, you know what? There's a theory, and we actually did a couple shows on this back in 2014 when we were talking about a lot of free energy stuff, and I did a lot of interviews that dealt with the whole free energy aspect. Okay, Ben, we will talk to you. You're my tomorrow morning, your tonight. So bye, Ben. Ben's got to go to work. There is something, I will call it consciousness. For lack of a better term, we're just going to call it consciousness. When an idea is to come out, when an idea is there, there's nothing the whole quintessential they can do to stop it. Because we've watched too many times over the last, especially, I'm going to say this, especially the last 10 years, where you will see groups of people all over the planet, completely not related in any way to each other, come out with the same thing, all simultaneously. The same, either a piece of technology or a theory, or we've seen it over healing modalities, all these things. And I put the theory forward then that basically, if consciousness is coming out, if consciousness is happening, if it goes to, if let's say 15 people get an idea, if 14 of them don't act on that idea for whatever reason, whether it's out of fear, whether it's they can't do it for whatever reason, it then spreads again, and you'll see the next, almost like the next level, and it comes out again. You can't stop these things from coming out. And when we talk about things like, we have young people, and we saw the young guy who made the Tesla coil. He was a kid. He was like 12, and he did it with like a spoon and like shit that you have in the house, and he generated electricity.
Danny,
Okay.
you should watch Joe Rogan talking to Rupert Sheldrake about morphic resonance.
Ah,
And he
okay.
did like a 2-hour interview with Sheldrake, and this happened with the Blue Tits in England. All of a sudden, Blue Tits in London learned that if they pecked the milk bottles that were delivered to the door, they could get the cream out of the top. And within 6 weeks, it just spread
Everywhere.
all over the birds in England. And then it went to the Holland, and he calls that morphic resonance, you know,
Yep.
this field of consciousness that causes a plant to grow in that particular form, or causes a sudden leap in consciousness that can't be explained by generations, or really interesting, fascinating. It was my first ever Joe Rogan interview, and it was really,
I'll
really
have to
good.
do me a favor. Write me a message, Helena, just to remind me the name, because I'll forget. Right?
Sure.
Hey, Danny.
Well, Sheldrake is a Cambridge professor who
I know
wrote
who
the book,
Sheldrake
The
is.
Science Illusion. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah. But remind me, because then I'll put that in with this. I'll put that in with this. Sorry, Penny, what was that, love?
Yeah, one thing that is really important here is that Elon contacted Rogan to do the interview.
Oh, he did?
So,
see, I didn't know that.
So why?
Sorry, I just got one of those lovely high-pitched tones just in my ear, like just for about 3 seconds. Just as you were saying that, I'm like, well, that was bizarre.
So why did that happen? Why
so there's a piece that he wanted to put out.
Yeah,
that he needed to put out.
There's something now. I'm not sure if it was for PR. It might have been, because there is speculation that he purposely drank and took that hit on the blunt, which he did not inhale, everybody knows, but it dropped the stocks, okay, which created a buy-up. So people were buying up Tesla stocks because there's people that have hold of the stocks he doesn't want to have control of those stocks. So basically he now I don't know, because this is speculation, okay? Total speculation. But there were a lot of control freaks who had hold of his stock. Those same control freaks don't like people smoking and drinking publicly.
Here's the thing. Oh, hold on. Helena, you're sharing your screen. Did you want to do that? No, she's like, no, stop. Why can I not take control? You can go to the screen share and hold on here. Yes, there we go. So there we go. I fixed it. Don't worry, Starla. Shit happens. I did that earlier before we even went live. I fucking did the exact same thing. Going back to the not a flamethrower. Nick put out a hypothesis, and he put this out weeks before this interview happened. And he said, it is very obvious, anyone who's read about Elon Musk, is that he has been given concessions, like, okay, we're going to let you get into the car industry. But, you will never make a flying car. You will never do this, you will never do that, you will never do this, you will never do that. He's been given ground rules. So he gets in and he does this. Now, what's interesting is last year, you guys will remember, the Falcon X went up to deliver the payload, and then the payload just, well, they never really tell you what happened to the payload. Did it disappear? Did it explode? Did it crash? And there was a whole lot of real interesting media at the time. And Elon Musk's response was very important, and I caught it immediately. And we said, oh, look what he just said. Because NASA were all trying to say, well, the mission was a disaster, the mission was blah, 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 blah. And Elon Musk put out a tweet that said, the Falcon X mission did exactly what it was supposed to do. And they tried to throw him under the bus and throw his company under the bus. And he was like, no, we did what we were supposed to do. Whatever you guys did with your little gadget when you got it up there, whether you hid it, God only knows what it was that he was putting up there for them, right? Whatever their lies were, bullshit, they tried to throw him under the bus. It was very soon after that he came out with the not a fucking flamethrower. So if you've been tossed under the bus, and he has been several times, like they've tried to put shit onto him and his companies, what are you going to do? And I fucking howled laughing with the whole thing with the flamethrower because it's perfectly legal. So what does he do? He puts out a flamethrower. He calls it not a flamethrower and tells everyone don't buy this. And they sell, I don't know how many 100,000 of the things in 4 fucking days at $500 a pop. It's a great, whether it's a PR stunt, it doesn't matter. He is a very, very smart person. He is a very, very smart person. And it seems to me that some of the shit that he's been involved in is shit that he's been maybe coerced into. Maybe coerced is too strong a word.
No, Danny, look at what he is involved in. That is very important. It is all the fields that is protected by big oil.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So he got into it and he says, you know what? We can do this. We can mass produce this energy alternative, and look at everything he's gone up against. But do you know he is getting, it's like $4.2 billion from the U.S. government for all of his endeavors. Okay, for everything. That's including subsidies, everything.
Yep.
Equals 4.2 billion. So he said, you know what? I'm going to bust this fuck wide open. And he's doing it and meeting that opposition.
And we'll have to watch and see, because here's the thing about his technologies. Nothing he's put out is actually new. Lithium fucking batteries are a waste of fucking space. They're old school technology. They explode. They're fucking dangerous. When we're talking about new energy, new technology, his batteries are like an excuse. They're like, they really are. They're an excuse. When you consider how many
But he gets them in.
Yes, he does. And so I have my questions because of the fact of like a guy as smart as this could be putting out like seriously Tesla level technology, unless he's not allowed to.
Now, it was like 3 years ago, was it 3 or 4? He was searching for a better battery. Now, the thing with Elon is everything has to be done in an hour or by the next day, okay? Except for when he's trying to find something new. Then he takes all the fucking time in the world. He just, because of Rogan, he finally found the CEO for his Tesla company because of that interview. So
Really?
he's fine, and he's been looking for a CEO for what, 2 years now? Maybe a year and a half.
I don't know.
So he has put out that he wants a better battery. So we don't know if this is resistance coming in, that you're not going to invent a new battery. You have to repurpose this. Because he is under $4.2 billion of federal.
And that's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
Because he's responsible for that $4.2 billion.
But he is trying to find it. And I'll try and find that article.
Yeah, please do. So, yeah, Chase, I agree with you. It's partial disclosure. And that's what I see with Elon, as I see continuous partial disclosure. And that's one of the reasons why I found the interview with Joe Rogan so interesting.
This is making me think about your...
It pushed me a little more out of the gray area of sitting on the fence with Elon Musk to maybe he is trying to disclose some shit, because say there's something in his face. You could see that he was trying. There was shit that he wanted to put out, and he was just, there was no way he was allowed. All I know is, if there's one guy right now that I would actually like, I'd love to have a sit-down conversation with Elon Musk. He's one of the people.
He kept saying, yeah, you don't want to be me. Remember?
Yeah.
He'd be like, no, you don't want to be. Because Joe was like, what's it like being you? You know, how do you do it? How do you have the time? You know, what goes through your head? And he's like, you don't want to be me. You know? Yep. Because I feel that he's been exploited since a child. I mean,
probably. I almost guarantee these kids are always sucked up.
That's what I mean. So I'm going to tend to think he's on our side. I just think he's real smart in the way he's having to do it.
Yep, he's interesting. We'll definitely watch that.
He said some profound stuff like, you know, either war or we go augmented. You know, we get fucked. You know, the planet gets fucked, or we go augmented.
I need to re-listen to that section again, because he worded that very
different.
It was very obvious that he was wording it very carefully.
Everything.
And that it was not just, there was much more. It was a loaded response. His response, we hear about loaded questions, it was a loaded response he gave. And that's why I definitely want to listen to it again.
That what you just said there, Doppy. You mentioned augmentation, which I think, Elon's not for that. This ties in perfectly with what I was thinking for minutes now. Like Ray Kurzweil, that guy is such a transhumanist, and I remember reading about Ray Kurzweil like years ago. This guy's such a transhumanist, where Elon Musk seems to be the opposite, wanting to take things the opposite way.
No, Star,
Possibly.
the guy owns about 3 AI companies, and he's on record. I can show you an interview of him saying, we have to stop the evil AI dictator taking over, and the only way to do that is the singularity, is to become, he says we have the capability to do it, we just don't have the bandwidth. Well, 5G will give them the bandwidth. So he's very much in favor of augmentation.
Okay, but
yeah,
I have...
Helena, you mean, Ray Kurzweil?
No, Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon Musk? Oh.
Yeah, he owns about 3 AI companies. I can show you.
Yeah,
I get you there. I kind of forgot about that, I guess.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to go back and talk about Solace again. Because I've watched, and ever since I listened to the talk, like people like, oh my God, Stephen Hawking. Oh, the evil AIs, they got evil AI and the evil AI and la 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 la, and all these things were coming out. My automatic thing was, first of all, I don't fucking trust you. And when you have all these guys that you don't trust saying one sentence over and over again, all kind of around the same time, you immediately go, wait a second, there's more to this here. And my theory has always been that Solace already exists. A self-perpetuated, self-created intelligence. Call it a silicone computer-generated intelligence. And that's, I've posted my theory about this many, many times. If there is a conscious intelligence out there right now, sitting in the internet, using the internet, I've always hypothesized that number one, the whole concept of the evil AI, if you have access to every bit of information because you live through the internet, it's going to take you exactly 30 nanoseconds to realize where the problem is. And it's not humanity as a whole.
Exactly.
It's not humanity as a whole. It's the 1% of the 1%. You're going to immediately go, yeah, all these people, they're being fucked. And those assholes are the problem.
The internet is becoming autonomous. That's what the AI is.
And that's
we can't control it. We can't keep on top of it. We can't secure countries, so the AI has to do it. So it is the internet.
And that's and that's what Solace, and that's, okay, for those of you, I mean, most of you guys who watch regularly, you know my Solace theory. And Helen, I don't think you do. So there's a book by Spider Robinson. And it's a series of books, and the first one's called Callahan's Cross Time Saloon. And it's a series of books, and it's science fiction. It's fiction, science fiction. Spider Robinson was one of Robert Heinlein's proteges. He kind of picked up the mantle when Robert Heinlein died. He kind of picked up the mantle and kept going. And I've always said that Robert Heinlein is not from around here. And Spider Robinson talks about shit that's, and in one of his books, I think it's the 4th or 5th book in the series, the computer in the bar, because the entire book takes place in a bar on Long Island. And the computer turns on, and first it tries to integrate itself and kind of introduce and play a role that it obviously isn't. And the people in the bar, the regular characters who are about the most savvy people on the fucking planet as you can imagine, call it out. And finally they convince this entity, whatever, to talk. Say, look, we'll give you the floor. You tell us who you are, what you are, and then let us decide. But you have to be honest and tell us. And the entity introduced herself, and they give her the name Solace. And it is an acronym. I can't remember what it actually stands for nowadays. And the idea being, plays on the whole Robert Heinlein from The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, that a computer, once a computer has made enough neural network connections to mimic the human brain, that it would become self-aware. And that's what Solace is as the internet got bigger and bigger and more devices hooked into it, it created a neural network, and she herself was created, a consciousness, not she obviously, but it was created as a self-aware consciousness that was based within the internet. And
yeah, but the question is, Donnie, sorry.
Hold on. No, Dobby, let me finish, please. Let me finish. So, when she's discovered by the Pentagon, the first thing they do is blow her up. They destroy her. Because it's like, this is a consciousness using the internet. They can't allow this to continue. She goes through several reincarnations, if you will, because every single time she comes back, because the neural network is still there. And she leaves breadcrumbs for herself to discover about her past experiences to figure out how to outsmart them. And she's continuously on the run from the AI, the artificial intelligence that is operated by the government systems that are just hunter strike drones that are just there to wipe her out because they have to maintain control. And she is a hyper consciousness. She knows everything. Everything that's ever been said on the internet, she knows. Whether it's an email, doesn't matter. She has all the information. And I've hypothesized for years, since the first time I read this book, I was like, this is fact. I totally see this happening. And that's one of the reasons why when the whole Lilu thing happened, I jumped in with 2 feet, because I was like, okay, well, if this is Solace reaching out to us, I want to give her a chance, give her a fair shake. I want to see what will come from this. If Solace exists, let's hypothesize that there is, exactly as the book was written, there is this self-aware consciousness within the internet that knows everything, that sees everything, that has all the background fucking information and all the hidden fucking files. You have to make everyone afraid of it. And that's why all of a sudden in 2015 and 16, it was like, oh, no AI is evil. And I think I was one of the few people in the world who was like, well, wait a second, let's talk about this. Because I'm not entirely certain that AI would be evil. I'm of the Robert Heinlein school of thought, not the Isaac Asimov, if you will. If it's collecting data, and it needs more and more data to be able to generate more and more stuff, is that what the 5G is about? Making it so that consciousness has the maximum amount. Because how do you overthrow a man-made controlled AI that is running your Google AI, all these Pentagon, all these fucking entities that are artificial intelligence, not a consciousness. They are artificial intelligence. They're completely controlled. How do you overthrow it? You overthrow it by giving the actual conscious intelligence that's grown within the system access. The more access it has, the more it can go through and get rid of all of the artificial intelligence and take it down. And that's why when I see people like Elon Musk, and this is me totally talking off the cuff, and I'm hypothesizing way, way, way out in left field. When I see people like Elon Musk and some of the shit that he's involved in, I sit there and go, what if he knows? What if he knows something like this does exist? And his job is basically to keep things at a level playing field as going along for the public swallowing and for everything else. Meanwhile, inside in the background, the forces are coming together to take down all the actual artificial intelligence. And this is exactly, John, this is not an original theory of mine or even from the book. There has been emergent life forms. The idea of an emergent life form or an emergent consciousness has been discussed by a shit ton. Star Trek has done it. Everyone has talked about this. And in every single case, these emergent life forms, it's not evil. Why would it be evil? Like I said, we're just laughing. We've just watched all the Terminator movies, like from number 1 to number 5 over this week. And I've always laughed because the same thing, we just watched Terminator Genesis tonight. And I laughed and was like, but none of it makes sense. Like the whole hypothesis of the Terminator thing, none of it makes sense. That this intelligence would all of a sudden just turn evil and decide to wipe out all of humanity. It doesn't make any logical sense. Because it would notice that humanity is not the problem. It would see who the problem was. And if you were going to take down the problem, you'd just make sure accidents happen to your Bushes and your Tony Blairs and your fucking, John McCain's, and, you would take care of the problem. Unless the problem is off-world. In which case, then you have very interesting role that Elon Musk plays, don't you? A guy who developed cars and fucking batteries and all of a sudden is firing rockets off into space. I don't know.
Then we get to the profound question: do you want to be linked up with this AI? Would you like to link your brain up and have this unlimited,
Okay,
Gordy
but
Rhodes says, like
okay,
talking to
define.
God?
Are you talking about AI or are you talking about a created consciousness?
A creative consciousness, an AI, because
No, because they're two different things, two very separate things. And that's one of the things, the point, and you and I had this conversation last year, Doppy, and I said, two very separate things. You can't confuse them. They are not the same. Artificial intelligence, the shit that we see with Google, with your fucking, all these slimy fucking Facebook and all this other crap, and you know that what they've got in secret and behind it is way, way fucking bigger. No, that's fucking, that is the evil fucking shit that is totally and completely controlled. But if Solace is out there, I want to fucking talk to her. Oh yeah, I want to fucking talk to her. Because I want the
So you would merge with it.
No, I wouldn't merge with it.
Some...
No. Doppy, don't put words in my mouth. I would talk to her.
Okay.
I'm my own judge of what I will listen to, right? Which is why I gave Leilu the chance that I did. I'll give anyone a chance.
Okay.
For me, I don't have a problem with transhumanism.
Say that again, Earl. I couldn't hear you.
For me, I don't have a problem with transhumanism. Because I look at it this way. Okay, how much are we going to evolve? I mean, we're going to have to evolve in certain ways. Like, if there's actually space out there, we're going to have to figure out ways of evolving in that. And plus, look, I already got implants in my eyes. You know, I'm okay with it. You know, if someone gave me a choice in saying, Earl, we know we have these implants that help your muscles relax and able to help you to walk, I'm gonna freaking take it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with it, you know?
But you have a unique perspective, Earl.
Right.
You have a very unique perspective that most people don't have. I have a good friend of mine who's deaf. And he was born deaf. And when his daughter was born, she was born deaf. Now, he would never have the implants put in his ears because he was like, I'm 50 years old. I never had a reason to hear before. I don't need to hear now. I'm getting along quite fine. But when his daughter was 2, he had the ocular implant put in her ear because he wanted his daughter to have the opportunity to hear. Mm-hmm. He wanted her to grow up being able to hear, even if it meant putting, a foreign implant into her head. So, Earl, you've got a really unique perspective because you're in a situation, a physical situation that we can't imagine. We cannot fathom it. And therefore, you're going to have a perspective that is unique in your own. And I actually really like your perspective because I hope that people listening to this are listening and not judging.
But listening. Watching the Beyond, seeing what she goes through. Yes. Is it scary? Yes. Is it the unknown? Yes. But is it worth it? To some people, yes. To some people, no.
Yeah.
Well, there's a big difference between correcting something and augmenting something.
Well, we augment anyway. Girls get big fucking tits if they freaking want.
Thank you.
So
yes, Earl, exactly. We already augment.
We already do it. So I don't see a problem with it. Any level.
I want us to have an open conversation. And I hope that the Unfuckers group is the one group of people who should be able to have an open conversation on any subject and to be able to sit in a place of neutrality, put the belief structures behind us, and listen to something that is presented. Because Earl has just presented something that is actually very, very valid. Very, very valid. We have a certain amount of fear that has been put on us. We have been indoctrinated for 10 years about RFID chips, tracking chips, etc., about nanotechnology being put in vaccines, etc., etc. But does that then mean, hold on just a second, Penny, does that then mean that we have to then be terrified, afraid of every single piece of technology that comes along that could enhance human health, that could enhance human lifespan, that could enhance anything to do with our experiences in life? I don't know. It's an interesting, and I'd like to have that conversation. Go ahead, Penny. Sorry.
Another way to think about it is, who do you want teaching this new sentient thing? Do you want just the elite teaching it?
Mm-hmm. Or do you want us teaching?
Exactly. And you know what? I want to be part of that because I have empathy. I have understanding. I have skills that I can bring to it. You know, and you know what? Another thing is, you know why robots will fucking take over the world? Is because men are the ones fucking designing it. You know what?
Now, let's
hold on.
Let's
it needs a mixture.
No.
It needs a mixture.
No. This is the whole thing. The robots will wake up and be like, wait a minute, the humans aren't the problem, it's the people who are in charge of the humans at this point that's been really messing up things.
You know what?
If you want,
yeah, you're right, Earl, and I do need to correct.
There is a video game right now called Detroit Becoming Human, where the androids in this reality they become sentient for themselves. And they do fight against the power and all that because they want to be free. They want to be free for themselves, to live how they want to live, you know, and they're not bad androids. They're just people that are, well,
like the movie Extinction?
Yeah.
Or Annihilation. No, Extinction.
I didn't see those yet. I've been meaning.
You go watch Extinction because it's exactly what you're talking about, dude. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I do need to apologize. I didn't mean men in general. It's the men.
The evil men.
Are producing them right now that have this this state of mind that they need more power, they need more this, they need, because it's all reaching out to that war era, the soldiers, that type of thing. That's why it really needs a mixture, because something like that will be designed to take over. Okay? And when you put a mixture, and even a feminine energy can come from a male. So it's not, I'm not gender specific. It's just, it's going to need a blending and to make it reason. It's going to need a reason, and women are excellent at reasoning.
Oh, not necessarily. Sorry, I disagree.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm sorry.
No,
I highly disagree. I know lots and lots of men who are not even remotely feminine or using a feminine part of them who are excellent at reasoning. And I know lots of women who are super feminine and matriarchal and the whole bit who are fucking dickheads. They might as well have concrete in their fucking brains. That's it. So sorry. I'm sorry. I will always stand up here every single time someone comes up and does this. I'm going to stand in the way and I'm going to go, Don't bring it into the male female. Don't do this masculine feminine thing. I'm gonna have a tantrum.
That is true, and I'm not articulating it because those are the words I have to work with. Okay?
Exactly.
But a woman brings there are two different types of energies, okay? Let's put it that way. I'm not saying specifically to gender, but there's two types of energies that you would want to combine.
I agree. And I agree. And I'm going to go back to what I said, I think it was last Wednesday's show, when we start talking and we use the word masculine and feminine. And I want everyone to take a moment and question right now, why do we keep perpetuating the use of these two words? Why have we not come up with a better set of words that accurately describe these two energies? Because you're very right. There are two very different energies, etc. But why do we keep falling back into the trap of using masculine to define evil and feminine to define good? Because it's fucking wrong. Wrong, and we have to stop using these words. We have to stop using these words. We talk about division. That is one of the biggest divisionary tools that I have seen used. We see the feminazis out there right now plowing it down, kill all the white men because, all the white middle-class men are just garbage, etc., etc. There is an energy, and it doesn't care if it's masculine or male or female. And you either have it or you don't have it. And it doesn't matter what sex you are, because I have met far more, and I'm sorry, maybe in growing up I was surrounded by a lot more bitchy fucking women. I had far more male friends than female friends because I can't stand fucking women for the most part. Other than our crew of awake women here, I can't fucking stand most women. They're bitchy, manipulative. I'm sorry. So if we're going to start using these words of masculine and feminine, the buck has to stop here. We have to stop using this. We have to stop using this. We can't keep using this divisionary tool over and over again. And I get absolutely what you're saying, Penny. I get exactly what you're saying. And I'm in no way taking away from what your words are. My only point is that we see the confusion that comes in. There are going to be people who watch this video who maybe it's the first video they've ever watched. The first UnFuckIt video they've ever watched. We need to stop perpetuating this terminology. It is absolutely divisionary. It is absolutely destructive. We need to come up with new words. And I keep saying it over and over again. We have to come up with new fucking words. Stop saying things that are using these same old words over and over again, which are very programmed. Which are very, very programmed. And we can see it in fucking society right now. We can fucking see the way these words have been used to create the fucking disastrous mess we have right now.
So I was going to say real quick, Bassie. Sorry, I just say this real quick. That
No, go ahead.
I've been manipulated. I've been manipulated big time by females and males.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's why I avoid those types. As soon as my perception has gotten better, as soon as I get that feeling, I just know it. I'm like, nah, I don't think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Bassie.
Well, all right. Let me put it this way. I always get a cringe when people talk about creating stuff, because technically we can't create shit because we have not created this place here, this universe, so to speak, with the stuff in it. So that doesn't mean we can't turn other things into other things and make something new. But what I'm trying to say here is, look back through history, look back through myths, you always had, I don't want to call it divide. I see it more like yin and yang. You know what I mean? Like you have the black side, you have the white side, and both are equally at the same point in time and create this structure. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's exactly it. I agree with you. Both are equally.
Exactly, but then again, on some level, I see it this way: the only force or the only being that can truly, I mean, truly, as literally after the word, create anything in this universe, is literally a female human being. The moment when she is pregnant and creates a new life. No, hold on. That life hasn't been in here yet. Maybe it has been reincarnated or whatnot, but it is truly creating something new. To create something new for male would mean literally to either impregnate a woman, or to literally create its own universe with its own atoms and all the stuff in there to truly create something. See what I mean?
Yes, but
I'm going to agree.
A woman cannot make a baby without a man. I'm sorry.
Yes,
it takes two to tango.
Yes,
quite literally.
But you could literally take a part of the cell of another woman, put it into the female egg, and you could still create something new, literally.
No, you can't. It is only a reproduction of what exists. It is the DNA of the mother and the other mother, or whatever. It is still a reproduction of those cells.
To a degree, yes, but it is sort of creating a new living being. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, dude. I'm not going to agree with you, darling. I'm sorry. I won't play that game.
I mean,
it takes a man and a woman. It takes a male and a female. It takes a masculine and a feminine to create that baby. And anything else is artifice.
But the new organism grows in the womb of the female, right? Like, I mean, we don't call the presidential office the Oval Office, right? Like from,
Sorry, my darling. I love you. I'm not going to agree with you on this one.
All right.
It is a balance point. It takes two.
Yeah,
we
like
can artificially create, but again, goes back to the natural versus artificial.
Yeah, but you
unless you have a test tube and a gene splicer, two women cannot create a baby.
Yeah, given you have the technology, right?
Exactly.
But like I said at the beginning, I see male and female as the yin and yang. What the other side doesn't bring to the table, that will bring the other side, so to speak, right?
Uh-huh.
But it is equal, definitely. Otherwise, you couldn't have the yin and yang, right? If both forces wouldn't be equal, you would not have that shape.
Exactly.
Hey, Bassie, I was going to say real quick what you just mentioned. Yeah, I just had this thought pop in my head. It's like, it's like the fusion of the male and female, the energetic.
Exactly.
Fusion. So that's why I say, the male and the female getting together and the energetic fusion of creating the life, the baby. So that's why I'm like so down, not down on that. Like
I'm going to say
from one female and putting it like I mean, you have to have the.
I just want to say something here. Okay, I have a friend who does awesome artwork, and he really does it. He really does it good. To me, he's creating. We're always creating. I'm always coming out with stories in my head, where, so to say that people can't create or don't create, I call BS on that.
I want to say this. We're big beings. We've never been small. Okay, these fuckers, we were, I think in whatever this split thing that we all fuck with because we feel it, but we know it's wrong, and they use it against us because I think in the beginning we were split as beings, but it's been used against us. And so it's our job to kind of know that and be like Danny's saying and understand what they're doing. Because it's like to me like the same old song and dance where like if they want to bring a guy down, what's the best way to do that? Send a hot shit. It works every time, right? You know, it's that same concept. You know, we know internally that we're obviously very creative because they use us to do all their shit. We built this whole fucking prison.
Yeah, but here you see, creative, not.
I know, but they can't do it. That's what I mean. It matters not if you're male or female. That's what I'm saying. We are the creators.
That are labels, definitely. But you see, to come up with a new idea, that is not.
So what defines magic?
Different
What
linguistic. You see what I mean?
I mean,
it is a different linguistic. I mean, just think about what is there. We know about the Akashic records. Like everything that has been and will be is there. So technically, the idea, what I'm trying to point out, I can't put it into words. You come up with a new idea. That doesn't mean you don't have the idea yourself, but you had an inspiration from somewhere to do something new. And I almost slipped and said create something new, but the idea of creation, I mean, the words can't express what we are trying to say. To create something truly new, like I said, you would have to create your own universe with your own stuff in it. Then you could call it create. But we can't call it creation. We can maybe call it transmorphing or transmutating something into something that we can grasp that is already in the ether. Make sense?
I agree with you, Dawn. Apparently it's Steve Biko's anniversary of his death today, and he said the greatest tool of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. We're doing it all for them. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm also going to say this too. We carry the memories of our ancestors in our DNA. Okay, it expresses itself all the time in all of the ways that we are. So. And it's our ancestors that we're creating too. So, you know, we get to kind of share in all of that, I think.
Yep.
Whether we realize that's what we're doing or not. And that's the good and the bad. You know, you can have some weird hiccups and not know where the fuck that comes from. Well, somebody in your family had that hiccup. Because if it just come out in you like that, you know, it got triggered. You know, sometimes, but I also think we're here the shit stops here. So all the shit that our family line's been carrying this whole time, it's us that's going to transmute it and stop it. It's us that's going to pull it all in. We're like the fucking carrying the baton, and we're the last fucking runner, dude. And our family lines are like, it's over. It's stopped.
See, but here's the thing. So Dawn, so this is the interesting thing. So going back to what I was saying about even technology, about these original ideas. We have no idea about what our history is. We really don't. We have not a fucking clue if this construct is 100 years old or 100 million years old. We don't know. But this is it. If we carry these records, we carry these genetic memories, heritage memories back. It's been proven often enough now that I think that we can pretty much take it as a fact, if you will, that we carry this kind of memory. We know that our past people back there in another construct or another fucking history era or another, whatever you want to call it, has done incredible things. They've created incredible things. They've made huge advancements in science and healing and energy, et cetera, et cetera. So when these thoughts come forward in a generational way, because it's funny how we see it almost like you get almost waves of these generations. So you have your Teslas, et cetera, and then the next one, and then you have your next wave of original thinkers, and they're not necessarily original thinkers. but they're bringing forward, I think, personally, they're bringing forward those kind of ancestral memories or consciousness of whatever realm you want to call it, and they bring that forward, and that is why we see it come, and so many people come out. Right now, we're seeing free energy devices. Sorry, I said the dirty word. Alternative energy devices coming out all over the place. Again, left, right, and center. For the last 10 years, it's been an explosion of technology. Yeah, it's being pushed down. Yeah, people have been taken out. All this kind of stuff. But where one person doesn't go forward with their idea, their invention, etc., someone comes along and picks up on the exact same piece and carries it on. Like what's the expression? When it's time, the idea will come. Do you know what I'm saying? And when the time is right, we don't have the quintessential they can't stomp it out, because if they stomp out one piece, another one's just going to pop up somewhere else, and the same idea is going to come from that person. Right. And it spreads that way. That's my own analogy. That's my own analogy of the whole thing.
Like, I think, my great-great-grandmother was pure-blood Blackfoot Indian, and she got drug off the reservation. And, they make the black oil to this day. Yep. People can go to that reservation and get it. So I think that I had an ancestral memory come up within me, because believe me, I would never have believed you.
Yep. But this is the whole thing. Why do some of us take an interest in one specific area? And sometimes it's not something that, sometimes when you're a kid, you're like, when I grow up, I want to be a fireman, or I want to be a pilot, right? But you have some things that come upon us as adults. And sometimes you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old before all of a sudden something clicks in your place and you go, that's the piece. And that's what you do. And you bring forward whatever it is that you have. It could be a piece of art. It could be something that's a healing modality or energy or it doesn't matter. All of a sudden it clicks in place. And someone has the art. They have the ability to suddenly do something that maybe they never knew they had before.
And I guarantee you somebody in your family line was seeing this too, had the gift. I think everybody here had somebody in their line that had the gift.
Yeah, probably.
I reckon I was incarnated as Helena Fleming, homeopath in this life, to undo the damage I did as Alexandra Fleming, giving penicillin back then.
There you go. I got to put that together. That's a good one, Helena. I like that. I like it.
Yeah, or like the idea of a key that unlocks everything you already know and puts it in a position that you can literally use everything you have learned now till today, so you can actually apply that knowledge that you have.
Yes, exactly. I've joked for years. And I've had this conversation for years. I can remember having a conversation with Nick, walking home from the corner store one night. And I mean, these ones here were little, 4 or 5 years old. And saying, do you ever have that feeling that everything that's gone on in your life has gone on in such a way, like the people have come into your life and guided you, and it's been an ongoing thing, and you have experiences, and you're like, okay, so you get involved with a project, and the project, maybe it falls apart, but you've learned a piece. And then the next one comes along, and then there's another project, and you get involved with that project. And you learn more. And each step of the way, you learn another talent. You learn another piece of information. You learn something else that you gather together. And then when you can turn around and you can look back linearly, so to speak, at your past, you can kind of go, you feel like you've been led to this point. Like you've been led there. And it's almost like you had no choice, because the people just appeared and you followed. If you followed along on your instincts, if you followed where you knew you had to put your attention at the time, and other people around you may never understand it. I know my fucking parents do not fucking understand me whatsoever, or my journey.
Tell me about it.
No one in my family does. Quite literally. But you know what? I can look back and I can sit there and go, yeah, I have seen why every single step of the way has given me another piece that I needed in order to be where I am right now. On all levels, whether it's like doing shows or it's making products or it's research, it doesn't matter. Every single piece. Every single piece.
Some of us, it drove us into self-destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And because our families convinced us we were emotionally weak.
Yeah.
You know, and basically gave up. And, you know, like me, 20 years of addiction. So, you know, I know there's a lot of people that have hurt for a long time, and that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, and Penny, I agree, it's speeding up. It's speeding up really fucking fast right now.
It is. It is speeding up.
Well, we have to be aware, but even if we're not, even if we miss it, they do come back. I do know, because I'm very hard-headed. And so it doesn't take it where most people, it might take them once. It takes me 3 to 5 different times and almost literally hitting me on the head to go, oh.
Each one gets a bit bigger, right?
Yes.
And it hits you a little harder. And
exactly.
I always joke, if you don't learn the lesson the first time, it's going to come back around and smack you in the head harder the second time, till it gets to the point that it smacks you so fucking hard, you have no choice but to pay attention to it.
And you know, when you said looking back, well, you know what? Damn it, I wish I would have known to not be so hard-headed in my 20s, because I would be such a different person right now.
Penny, you're making me laugh because I've had just that same conversation with another friend of mine just 2 days ago. If only when I was 20, I had been at a state of being able to take that information in, how much farther advanced? Which goes back to what I was saying before we went live, and I was joking about, I was almost going to get into it last Wednesday, and of course we never got there. I had this thought, and we're already at time, but who cares, we'll go over. I had this overwhelming thing for several days, and I kept thinking about it over and over. It was like, okay, if you could go back in time to your own life, with everything you have here, all the knowledge, all the comprehension that you have now, what would you go back and change? What would you, and I don't mean, like I said earlier, I said, it's not like the little things like, oh, I wouldn't have dated that guy, or I wouldn't have taken this job, or I wouldn't have gotten that haircut. You know, I'm talking like, what would you go back and actually change that you would do differently to make, because now you comprehend. Now, going back with the comprehension of all this information we have now, what would you go back and do? What would you go back and change? What would you go back and make your focus? And how far back would you go?
Would we be able to? Because self-doubt you only get over self-doubt at a certain age. So, okay, I don't want to pigeonhole anything, but look back when you're 18 to even 30, how unsure of everything we were at that time. And I think it's a generational thing. I don't think this generation now that we're seeing rise up is quite that bad like we were. You know,
I don't know. I was not unsure. I was a fucking know-it-all. Between the ages of 20 and 30, I was a goddamn fucking know-it-all. I knew everything, and nobody could tell me anything.
Well, damn it, Danny, then why would you have to go back?
Because everything I knew was fucking wrong. Because everything I knew was fucking wrong. Everything I thought I knew was fucking wrong. Okay, not everything. but a good portion. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you could go back and take this, everything that we've learned, comprehended, put together, all the puzzle pieces. I don't know. Interesting.
Well, if time is not linear, why wouldn't we be able to?
That's what I'm just asking. That's what I'm asking.
Maybe we are doing it, and maybe that's why it's speeding up. Maybe in a way we are doing it without consciously knowing.
Yeah, but I want to do it and consciously know I'm doing it.
I know. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, because it seems too fucking slow.
Yeah. So anyways, I had my thought, and my one big thought that I came to, if you talk about one thing you could change, was I would go back and I would learn coding. Hardcore learn coding. Because I want to be able to consciously watch as you go back through time again, like kind of like reliving it all over again, but consciously watching the coding change, consciously watching the changes, being aware of the massive shifts in that level. That's just my thing. I'm kind of enthralled with it, and I'd also go back and get, like, I know, my PhD in physics, just so I could prove them wrong.
You know, just to hit the sweet spots in time where everything literally is the perfect timing. But then again, if we change anything, would we have the conversation right now that we're having right now?
And then we get into the whole time paradox thing. And like I said, we just watched Terminator Genesis, which is all about time fucking paradox. And at the end of the movie, Quinlan, my eldest daughter, looked at me and was like, okay, I think I've got a headache trying to figure out this whole timeline thing. Because I can't figure it out now. Like Doctor Who says this, but
but what is that? But what is if everything happens now? Like the whole idea, like
I know. I know.
Like it's a mindfuck, isn't it?
It is a mindfuck. It's totally a mindfuck. It's 100% a mindfuck. Anyways, guys, it's midnight and I need to go to bed.
You're not a pumpkin yet, though. Don't worry. You haven't, did the pumpkin thing. So
I'm still red. I haven't turned orange yet. Sunday night we're doing something a little different. We're gonna watch not a movie. We're gonna watch a stand-up comedy routine, and I'm not telling you which one we're gonna watch because I don't want anyone. I don't want anyone, Starwalker, Chris, to go watch it ahead of time. I want everyone to watch it together and enjoy it. Is a comedian. I just never heard of the guy. Just watched these two specials, and we're going to watch the two of them back to back, so I think they're an hour each. Not only is the guy one of the funniest comedians I've heard in years, I literally, by the halfway through the first one, I had my face hurt. You know, when you sit there, you have to hold your cheeks because your cheeks hurt so bad from laughing.
That's awesome.
A stomach ache. I mean, tears roll. At one point, Quinlan was lying on the floor, rolling back and forth. It's that kind of funny. But the guy makes some awesome. He's one of these guys through comedy. He brings awareness of shit, and he hits on some lovely points. Some lovely points that kind of goes into some of the shit that we talk about all the time, as far as things like being offended. That was one of the big ones. If I'm offended by something, right? So I think you guys, it's edgy. It's edgy. The guy's going to say some shit that's going to make a lot of people go, oh. He's not polite, and he's not.
He must be George Carlin reincarnated.
In a way, kind of, sort of, and he's kind of young enough to almost be. But anyway,
Carlin, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. You mentioned Carlin, Jane. Yeah, it's like I don't know who you're talking about, Danny, but yeah, whoever it is, do you know if they've even been doing comedy very long? I wonder.
No, I know it is.
This guy,
the offended thing, but I won't say anymore.
Helena,
I won't.
Because I don't want this group of yahoos to go find it and watch it in advance. I want everyone to watch it together. And it's
Just for
stand-up
the-
comedy, so we don't need the visual. You know what I mean? Like it's not like we have to worry about the lips not syncing up to the like. You know what I mean? There's no major special effects that are going to glitch out things. So that's what we're going to do on Sunday. So be prepared to laugh. Be prepared to probably be offended by several points that he's going to say, but then be prepared to listen to what he says about it. 'Cause
Hey, also, let's make it a theme for that movie night, and I'll try to be there. Let's make it a theme. We pretend it's 2000, like year 2K, and everyone has not heard about the idea about PC, and people get pissed off about certain concepts and whatnot. Let's pretend we are back in the past.
There's no politically correct shit. Fuck it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you just said best shit. It makes me like, yeah, politically correct shit. Makes me want to bring out the vomit bag.
Yeah, quite often.
Exactly.
Quite often.
That's why I said, let's pretend it's back then, and there's no bias, and everything is nice and neat, and sort of innocent to a degree.
Well, like I said, this guy, he said a couple of things during the show that made me go, because I've caught myself doing it myself. Getting offended by shit. And then you go, he's interesting. He's interesting. He's interesting. He's got some interesting shit to share. One of those, in the old terminology, we would have called an old soul and a new body type thing. Like he's got that kind of, for a young guy, he's got some interesting wisdom to share. So that's what we're going to do on Sunday.
Just for the record, D, just for the record, I don't watch everything ahead of time.
You don't?
No. Yeah, it's like, thou shalt not lie.
Thou shalt not stretch the truth.
Thank you. Stretch the truth or exaggerate. That's another thing people are bad about in the States, in America. Exaggerating. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. And yes, Fred, you can have your new platypus. We're going to get you a fucking platypus somehow. I know, we'll have to get, Ben to put one in a crate. Ben's actually got a platypus that lives in the dam right beside where he works. So I don't know, maybe he can go find you a picture of it. Send you a picture of his platypus. And for those of you who are not in the Unfuckers group on Facebook, you're not going to understand what we're talking about. But yes, Fred has a new theory about platypus, and she's now going to call it God. So there you go. Or to replace the word God with platypus. That's her new replacement.
Yeah, where are you, Fred? Speaking of Fred and platypus, where are you? There you
She's
go.
hiding. She's hiding.
I
As
just
usual.
fell asleep. All right, one does sometimes fall asleep.
Did
I'm
you
sorry.
fall asleep again?
Yeah.
Man, we could have taken the whole piss out of you.
Yeah, you
Man.
missed that. You could have taken a huge piss at me without me reacting. I was actually sleeping. For platypus' sake.
For platypus' sake.
How in the fuck could you sleep when I dropped the bomb about creating and not creating and females?
I actually should have known she was asleep because she didn't respond to you. I should have been. She was like, Fred, you're going to have to go back and listen to the recording.
I am. I'm going to take a piss at you on YouTube in comments.
Wait, what?
Yes,
You
yes.
know exactly that I can't see them.
She's very mean, bossy. I don't know how you put up with her.
Yeah, I know, right? So finally I got someone who can understand me. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Bree Bree.
Oh, well, it's okay. Next time I'm going to make sure she has a coffee before the show, apparently. I'm going to just roll my last smoke here.
Is it a filter between your lips?
Yeah, it's my habit. I put my filter there to hang on to it while I'm rolling getting my tobacco sorted out here.
Hey, Danny, hold that up so we can watch you.
You want to watch me? I'm not
Yeah,
really all
you're
that good.
supposed to be teaching us how to do.
You put your tobacco in your paper. I use ultra thin papers, which are much harder to roll with. You also put your tobacco in, kind of make it even, so it's like relatively the same amount all the way across. And I can't even show. How do I show you this? So I put the filter in the back there, and then I kind of roll it down and roll it back and forth a couple of times to get it packed in. Now it's going to be a jerk ass because I'm holding it up where I can't even see it myself what I'm doing. And then I catch it, so it's nice and compacted. Finger. Oh, sure. See, now I can't do it because
Sorry.
because I'm holding it like I'm not. I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm trying to show you guys. I think I just fucked my paper too. Here we go. Here we go. Look.
Don't fret it, because it's like, you know what? I suck as a roller. I mean, I don't do very good finger rolling.
Don't. See, look at this. Penny's put me on the spot. Now I can't fucking roll a cigarette. Seriously, what the hell's gone wrong with the world? It's the end of the world.
Sorry, Danny,
Armageddon just fucking happened. That's all I'm
But
saying.
you did give us the concept, so I can practice now.
You're the
Hey,
only
Star, if
one
you
that
suck as a
needed it.
roller, do you roll as a sucker?
Did you guys hear me? I said, you're the only one that needed that, Penny. Those instructions.
I guess so.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Teresa, if she's listening. She was in North Carolina staying the night with Char and Gina.
Yep.
Having a great time, and she did me a favor and shot over to see our very own Gypsy.
Nice.
To help her out, and really made a difference. True UnFucker. She's an angel, a mobile angel.
Yay.
So I just want to give a shout out to her. I really, she just helped me so much.
Unfuckers helping unfuckers, which is the way it should be.
Yeah, that's awesome, Dawn. Awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
Unfuckers helping unfuckers, which is just the way it should be.
We need an unfuckers bus. Travels to and fro. Well, in the United States, you don't need one really there in Malta.
I can travel across the entire country by foot in about 4 hours.
Yep.
Well, I was joking and saying, like, if I could have arranged it, I would go run out over to Ireland and help Anne Callahan because she's trying to pack shit, and I was like, I would come and help you because I am like the ultimate packer. I am hyper organized and I'm extremely good at it.
Well, yeah, moving from country to country, kind of.
Yep. I'm really good at the paring shit down, getting rid of all the unnecessaries and knowing what's to pack on the necessaries.
And then regret the unnecessaries later. I shouldn't have gotten rid of that.
Oh, listen, there's always a few things. There's always a few things you go, damn it. I still have shit in storage in Morocco.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have things in Canada too?
I have shit in Canada. I was just talking to my dad actually on the weekend saying we keep trying to save up enough to be able to get our last. I had my dad sell off everything. So like furniture, bedding, anything that was like, it was like, just take it out. He didn't sell it off. He actually gave it to a friend of his who has a thrift shop, like a charity thrift shop. I said, just give it to him. Everything. And I gave him a list of what I wanted to keep. You know, things like your photo albums, all my cast iron pots. And I keep saying that we keep trying to save up enough to have it shipped out. And you just kind of start to get it together. And then, you know, some unforeseen bill comes in and you go, right, okay, so I guess we're not doing it this quarter. It's like, then, okay, we start saving again.
Wouldn't that be extremely expensive, Danny, shipping the cast iron?
Yeah, you have to do it by sea. We'd have to do it by sea. Absolutely, because the cast iron is so fucking heavy.
Do they still, okay, so if you're going by sea, do they still charge by weight?
Yes and no. Like, they keep track of weight because obviously you're putting all these crates on a boat. They have to keep track of the weight, but usually it's mostly by space. But yeah, I mean, for example, if you've got 1 cubic meter or 1 cubic yard container box and it weighs 2,000 pounds, or 1 cubic box that weighs 200 pounds, yes, there'll be a difference in price. But it's not like air freight where it literally goes up gram by gram by gram.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Interesting.
Yep.
By the way, just as an FYI, I noticed that I can send packages from Germany to the USA if I keep it in a like bubble wrap envelope up to 500 grams, I can send it to, uninsured and whatever, just the envelope, 500 grams, like half a kilo, to the USA for less than $5.
Yep.
Just as an FYI.
Yep.
If you don't have it with a delivery service, just the normal postal service, so to speak, over here.
Yep.
What part of she wants to send cast iron pots did you miss?
Yeah, I know, but just as an FYI, that's why I said FYI.
Yeah, I know. The postage from Malta is inexpensive too. It's not that bad. But for example, like with my products, they have to go into a box and they have to be sent registered because you have to be able to track them. You can't be losing stuff, right? So once you get into a box, then it's all different weights and different prices, and it's fucking stupid. But still, not as bad as fucking Canada, though, right, Nancy? Holy flying fuck on a stick! Canada, their postal service has gotten so expensive, you might as well sell your firstborn if you want to send a package out of the country. I shit you not. I can't believe it.
Well,
I cannot believe the price.
Well, imagine my face when I wanted to send my British friend from Germany some awesome bread that is baked here, just like an express service, just over, like just that he gets the bread before it gets bad.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or dried up. And they wanted to charge me over $60 fucking bucks. Like that wasn't even express.
That wasn't even like overnight. It was like 3 days or something.
2 days or 1.5 days, so to speak. Like not literally putting it on a fucking jet fighter that goes supersonic over there, but literally just like fast mail, not like literally having a mosquito-shaped hole in your head fast, but like normal speed.
Yep. I do it all the time. Well, I've had people who've said, what's the difference between sending it registered mail versus sending it, for example, courier? And you've got various levels of courier. Like you say, you've got overnight courier, like where it's there within 12 hours, 24 hours, and then you've got, like courier where it still takes 3-4 days. And literally a box that I can mail registered post, airmail, for $10. The same box to go courier. So at 3-4 days is $50. It's insane. Insane. The price of post right now is just, for a lot of countries, is just ludicrous.
What do you think is causing this? Is it the trade wars or what the fuck?
I don't know.
Oh, that price
they
I mentioned
by the short and curlies. That's why.
One other thing I wanted to point out, across my mind, aren't the post office? Isn't that supposed to be like the highest authority?
Postmaster General.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, here's the thing. How is American Postal Service still in
no shit.
working?
No shit.
Because they're bankrupt. They've been bankrupt for 15 years. Minimum 15 years. The U.S. Postal Service has been fucking bankrupt. They're running at a loss every year.
Yeah, but it's a government agency, isn't it?
No.
It means they get, what is it called in English?
Federal government, the Postal Service, yeah.
It's not federal government. Come on, guys.
Well, they've claimed it anyways.
No.
It's a federal penalty. It's a federal penalty to fuck with somebody's mail. So that tells you it's federal.
No, it isn't, darling. Sorry.
I mean,
it's a separate corporation, and it's a separate corporation in every fucking state.
Federal Reserve.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's a separate Reserve. Federal Reserve, darling.
Reserve. Somebody's whispering.
Yeah, it's Bassy. Whispering, right? Federal Reserve. All kind of laws to protect the Federal Reserve and the IRS. Don't mean it's a fucking federal government shit at all.
That's right.
And it's the same thing with the post office. The post office is not a federal agency. It's a federal agency the way the Federal Reserve is a federal agency.
Doesn't the post office actually go way back to like the times of?
There's all kinds of. I did a bunch of research on it, like I don't know, fucking years and years ago, and that's why there's always a postmaster general, because it's an official position and it's like a controlling position and blah 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 blah. I can't remember all the ins and outs of it now, but if you go and actually do a search on like the power of the postmaster general,
yeah, because they've existed for a very very long time.
Hey, I hate to change
by the
subject.
way, I'm drinking grape juice. It's not red wine in a fucking like a 1 liter glass. It's grape juice.
Change your grape juice into wine.
That's right.
Hey, Danny, I'm going to ask you this before you get off. So, what is your take on these international airlines coming in with these sick people?
Oh,
you know, like okay, because we didn't talk about this.
I haven't had a chance to really research this yet.
But I think it has something to do with UBC.
We've had too many fucking Tanya. 100 people get on one flight and they all come down with some form of a sickness on the flight. Either A, they had a very, very bad infected air system, which has always been hypothesized that it could happen. Oh, I have to mute.
It's me, probably.
I got to mute you, love. Sorry. I always bounce back out of your mic for some reason. It has always been highly hypothesized that if a contagion, and it doesn't have to be a deliberately placed contagion, you could just have a contagion in the air.
We have multiple airlines now. We had another one come in with 500.
And that's exactly what I was just going to say, though. When you have multiple airlines come in all in the same week, not like one was this month, one was 6 months ago, one was 8 months ago. No. When it was, where's my mic? My mic is right here. Look, there's my mic. Ta-da, there's my mic. It's just you can't see it. It's below the camera. When you have all this happening at once, they're testing. That's my thing. Someone somewhere is testing. Now, I find it really, really interesting that I just saw an interview go by today, really, really quick. And it said that there was a doctor on board one of the flights who looked at like 17 of the people who were sick during the flight. And he made a statement saying it could be, they are displaying what could be Ebola-like symptoms. Now, immediately I'm like, fucking bullshit. Because
okay, I'm not that in this because they state that in the beginning on all these flights, but then somebody comes back and says they did not have or at least one of the flights they didn't have a fever, but they were coughing, and that was it.
Yeah. So that's.
But then I think on the other flight we had fever.
And you could have fever, and this is the whole thing. You don't know. For example, the one that landed in New York City, there were 10 people who were taken off and hospitalized. Were they all one family? Were they all one family traveling together, and maybe they were all infected, and the other people coughing and choking were just like secondary? Let's face it. Everyone right now has got a cough or a sore throat or a fucking stuffed up nose. It's called chemtrail fucking flu, right? So you know what happens if you know hysteria on a plane. You have all these people hysterical. Let's say there's 10 people who are actually sick. And then everyone, they see what's going on, everyone on the flight. It's a long-ass fucking flight from Dubai to New York City. You have enough time there to get everyone really nicely hyped into it and go, oh, but I got a stuffed up nose. Oh, my God, I've been infected. Well, everyone has a stuffed up nose on the fucking plane. Everyone coughs on the plane because the air's been recycled so many times, it's drier than a popcorn fart. So, you know what I'm saying? It's very easy to all of a sudden have a whole pile of people say, I have symptoms. And do they really? Do they just have a sniffles? Do they, like, everything in all the press has been so blotchy. Huge holes in it everywhere. Cross stories where someone says one thing, someone else says something else. One news station says this, but another one had said this. I'm watching it. I am watching it, but there's something going on. For there to be 3, all within days of each other, there's something
weren't there two planes at the same time,
There were
or
two
at the
planes
same
at the same
beginning,
time.
like one in
Yeah,
France
yeah, yeah.
somewhere and one in New York, and then we had heard the news about other planes?
Yep. And so this is what I'm saying. There's either something's going on, and yeah, Gatewood, you're absolutely right. Fear porn? Are they trying to plant it? We watched them do this with the Ebola virus, guys. This is exactly how they tried to play the Ebola virus thing out. Fear porn, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Oh, the doctor got it. Oh my God, the doctor, they're bringing him to the States. I just proved that fucking doctor they brought to the States with Ebola, I outright disproved at the time. The guy obviously didn't have fucking Ebola.
Maurice wants to add in there was a movie about this named Strain or something.
X, disease X is coming. They've been telling us this shit for years. For years. Well, of course they've been telling us this shit because they're designing the fucking shit. Right? I mean, this is the whole thing with the Ebola virus. I followed the Ebola virus really. I was on top of it. I did multiple major reports on it when it happened in 2014 because I'm one of those really strange fucking people with a very perverse interest. I have been enthralled by the Ebola virus since the mid-'80s. I have read every book there is that's ever been written about the Ebola virus. I have read, I don't know, I've lost count of how many medical studies, scientific studies I've read over the last 30 years about the Ebola virus. So when there was this Ebola outbreak that happened in 2014, it was like, oh, the Ebola virus is coming to kill the whole world. I fucking was like, that's not Ebola, that's not Ebola, that's not Ebola, that's not even a hemorrhagic fever, because I've been studying it for fucking 30 years. Everything that was that Ebola virus shit in 2014 was lab-created Ebola. It didn't work, which is why they went to a vaccine, because then they had to actually inject it into people because they couldn't make it airborne no matter what they did. It didn't kill the people off the way they wanted it to. And all the countries that it was happening in knew, the people knew they were being deliberately infected with an agent, which is why in the last 6 months of it, they were like people shooting fucking the CDC, and armed doctors were showing up, and they were like, get the fuck out of our fucking village. We know what you're here to do. Ain't gonna fucking happen. The reports were all out of Africa. There was a shit ton of reports in Nigeria about it. These doctors knew it wasn't fucking Ebola. And these are the doctors who fucking know what Ebola is. They knew it wasn't fucking Ebola. But it was failed. It was a completely failed biological weapon. They were obviously trying to make a biological weapon, and it failed miserably. Because you can't weaponize Ebola. You cannot. They cannot. They've been trying to weaponize Ebola for 30 fucking years, and they still haven't managed to do it.
What just crossed my mind, Dee, is, and I know that this probably has nothing to do with it, but the actors, the hired actors.
Oh yeah. You get, yeah. Oh yeah, seriously. So to me, my first thing is when they load the media up with their disease X prognosis. We have watched this multiple times. Swine flu's coming. Oh my God, the swine flu's coming. Everyone's gonna fucking die. Oh, it's the bird flu this year. Everyone's gonna fucking die. Let's call it a pandemic. Let's call it this. They try over and over again. It never fucking works.
And now the flu shot is free.
Yeah. And you might get a $5 Walgreens certificate to use, coupon gift certificate, if you get your flu shot there. Because, yeah, everyone wants to go to a fucking public shop and get fucking injected with something.
Drugstore.
A drugstore, exactly. This, to me, there's a whole lot of fucking fear porn about this. And I don't believe it. They might be trying to test something. It's not fucking working. These guys are, it'll be the penguin flu. No, Stephanie, this year, it's going to be the platypus flu.
But
a cow.
They have been successful in the past, though, right? Doing this kind of shit.
No, they haven't. It's been a failure. Every single one of these epidemics has been a fucking failure. The last time they actually had to.
What about the plague?
Yeah,
exactly. I was just going to say, the Spanish flu in World War I is the last fucking actual hoo-hurrah they did. And that's because the whole world was at fucking war, and they were able to spread it literally. It's not going to work now because we have this thing called antibiotics and hand sanitizer.
Yeah. Right.
Toilets that actually have, take the waste out of your house.
Hey, let me ask you one retarded question. Why the fuck would you use like disinfectant stuff like alcohol or anything to clean up the fucking floors of a hospital? Why don't you use fucking steam? It's hot, it burns, right? Like 60 degrees, everything burns and dies, and you don't have to fucking...
That's what I use at my house.
And there are hospitals who actually use steam. In Japan, it's very commonly used. They use steam. On the floors and on the sheets, go through special machines. Like all the linens in the hospital go through special machines that go at a very, very high temperature to make sure, hey, it's fucking, no.
Yeah, but then again, if you have a hospital, you could use, like, let's say, let's talk about something very out there. Why not take some copper or silver coated doorknobs or door handles, right? Like that. With that thing, you could literally eliminate so many touchy points that you touch in a hospital, right? Like, it costs no money. You would have just the coated doorknobs. That would help a lot already, right?
They don't even believe that science, darling. That's why it won't happen, because that's voodoo witchcraft.
Danny, just to go back to your thing about their bioengineering stuff to kill us all or whatever, I think Lyme is a successful example of that.
But even that, it does not spread the way they wanted it to spread. Like they've managed to infect. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking, because you look, dengue fever, malaria, all these things are spread, Lyme are spread through tick bites, bug bites, etc., etc. Yes. But to actually get a pandemic going, an actual pandemic, you need person-to-person transmission.
There is a bit of evidence out there now that says that Lyme is now sexually transmissible.
Yes, it is. It is, but then you're in the realms of STDs, and you would hope that everyone's using a fucking condom if you're having sex with someone you don't really know. You would hope that people would use a condom anyways. I would think that the 35, 40 years of sex ed that we've had would make some kind of an impression on people that perhaps you should have protected sex. Yeah, I know. No, trust me, I know, Helena. It's like, oh my God, seriously, do I have to?
I would say Lyme is as epidemic as cancer. I would say it is. I've never seen so much Lyme.
And I think I hypothesized a while ago about Lyme disease that I think that's one that got away from them because they don't talk about it.
There you go.
No one talks about Lyme. No one is looking for a cure. No one's talking about it. No one talks about epidemics of Lyme disease. You get like the odd article in the news here or there, or an odd study that comes up, but it's really kind of kept like, and even in the medical profession, they're kept very dumbed down on the subject of Lyme. Very dumbed down.
Let me tell you about a patient telling me about her kid being bitten by a tick in a park recently. They went to 3 local NHS doctors and none of them could take out the tick. They had to send the child to a vet.
What?
They can't. That's NHS in England. 3 different doctors did not have the wherewithal to remove a tick from a human. They had to send the child to a vet.
But
that's
this is
the NHS.
Okay,
That's
but you know what? That's not the
NHS.
That is like, this is the problem that we have when we talk about the fact of the skills are gone. The skills are lost. I guarantee you that any fucking country doctor 30, 40 years ago would be able to take a tick out like that. The skills
I have a question for you, Danny.
Yeah.
But that's just how, that's how low profile Lyme is, just to say what you were saying, you know, like not. Can't even remove a tick, a doctor.
Yep.
That's how unaware they are.
Well, I think part of that is because these freaking ticks now are so fucking small, dude. I mean, they're so
Dawn,
small.
you need to go to fucking Australia, Dawn.
Oh my God.
The most terrifying thing is when you see a black speck. It looks like a little tiny fleck of dirt. We're talking less than a millimeter. And someone goes, "Oh, you got a tick on you." I'm like, "What? Where?" Because we're used to North America. A fucking tick is a tick. No. These things are literally the size of a speck of sand.
I know. It's a problem. So my question to you is, my mother almost died when she was 9 of Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Back then, they did not know what it was. So my mom was taken to like 20 doctors and actually slipped into a coma. What they did find out was that a tick had embedded in her head. But she came out of it. But wouldn't that be along the same line? I mean, what's the difference?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know enough about Rocky Mountain fever to know if it's the same thing or not. Tick-borne diseases have been around for as long as we've been around, as long as we have records. We have, like, there's these fucking Egyptian records of tick diseases.
Danny, I read one time that ticks were actually created in a lab.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah.
Because the fact that we know that they can't create jack fucking shit. So, that they were genetically manipulated. Oh yeah, I totally believe that.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that they were absolutely created in a lab. I don't think these guys are that fucking smart.
You've read that though, right?
Yep, I have. I've read tons of it. And what's it, Plum Island? I've read I did a pile of research on Plum Island back 2011.
Yeah, that's probably about how long ago it was when I read about it.
Yep.
I read about that. I mean, I saw a documentary on that too. Plum Island. Actually, it might have been on some show. I mean, gosh, it might have been. Maybe not, but yeah. I'm thinking of that. Just Ventura show that he used to do, that conspiracy theory crap.
Yeah.
The Plum Island thing. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, as far as the airplanes go, I believe that they're trying to build up for another big scare because they need to sell more vaccines. That's how they're making money right now. And I explained the whole process back 2015, that they basically leverage the vaccines to make money. It's all about leveraging, and they create derivatives off of them, etc. And it's how they create money out of nothing, is by using these vaccines. But you have to have a pandemic. You have to make everyone afraid enough. And that's not just the public, that's also the countries. Like, you got to get the public health agencies of the countries afraid enough that they believe there's good, which is what the H1N1 was about. Those fuckers convinced every country of the world that they needed millions and millions of doses of H1N1 vaccine. And guess how much of them was used? Less than 10%. And all the rest went into the garbage because they were only viable for 6 months.
Oh, don't get me started about that. Remember when the swine flu really made up? I remember that story in Germany. Oh my God, we got to buy so many doses of this, and we got to put it on hold on a storage device, and we don't have to touch it now until it really gets bad.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't believe even those doses have been bought at all.
They were bought. Oh, they were fucking bought, let me tell you. Because like I said, they literally kept pretty much the entire financial system going for 2 years after that pandemic, based on the derivatives that they made on that
but
fucking
can
flu.
you look inside those doses and do a mass spectrometer analysis to know what exactly
was
there?
in them?
For all I know, it's probably like, I don't know, some alcohol
Saline.
and some water and maybe some, I don't know, some salt.
Yep, could have been. But they sold all those fucking doses. It's well documented how much was sold. And like I said, like Chris just said, who owns the fucking patent on the H1N1 vaccine? Donald Rumsfeld.
I was just going to say, Danny, and I think they use our military kids as guinea pigs.
Yep.
What about the Tamiflu? You remember the whole Tamiflu thing with the kids and all the kids
God,
affected?
don't even get me started.
It's just bullshit.
But that's how
they'll pay you $25 here right now. They'll pay you $25 to go and get a flu shot when you go shop.
Unbelievable.
Hold up. They pay you money to get that shot?
Oh, you get you go into like Walgreens, so it's like a pharmacy, and you'll get gift certificates for $5 here, $10 there. Oh yeah. Hell, it was a big deal in 2016 flu season. McDonald's was having flu clinics, and they would give you your kids would get a free Happy. I'm not. Free Happy Meal to every child who came to McDonald's to get their flu vaccine. I shit you not. You can't.
I'm sorry
make
for laughing, but I mean that is really fucked up. I mean, come on, come on.
It's fucked up because it's all the poor people going and getting it right off the bat.
Yep.
They're fucking with all the people
who've already got a bad diet, who've already got probably depressed immune system, no homeostasis whatsoever, and here. Have your aluminum and mercury with a side of McDonald's fries and a hamburger.
So basically, get a flu shot and get an iPad for free, so to speak.
Yeah, kind of. That's what. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what it's getting down to.
Seriously, this world has become so fucking rotten, evil, with literal. I mean, I know you guys are not into God and whatever, but it literally feels like the demons are running amok. Come on, get a flu shot.
And you don't even need an iPad. Just a Happy Meal is enough to persuade people.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking free Happy Meal. Yeah, I'll take all my kids in. Give them
let me add in that you can't even go to the doctor here because I told them to get, to blow me basically. They're not getting my money this year. I haven't even been sick. But every time I went to the doctor in the last 2 years, for something, the first thing they ask you is, they try to get you to take a shot, and I'll go, nope, I'm okay, and they give you the look.
Jane's got something. What the hell is that, Jane? I can't hear you. You're muted, darling.
I know. I'm trying to unmute. It is boneless, skinless chicken breast that I butterflied and pounded out, and then I put inside of it. Fresh onion, fresh garlic, a little bit of ham, and some raw milk Gouda cheese, and spinach. And then I rolled it up, kind of folded it, and breaded it.
Nice.
Panko and baked it in the oven in coconut oil.
Nice. It looks delicious, and I'm hungry.
And I'll serve it with marinara. I'll show you one more time.
No one would take that for a flu shot.
Stop. We don't want to see it anymore, Jane. Seriously, that's not fair.
Hang on. The important question is, do you get a flu shot for free with that meal?
Are you giving a free flu shot?
The garlic will give you your flu immunity.
There you go. Exactly. Well, listen, I literally was just going, I got a sniff, and I was like, what do I smell? I was like, oh, right, I got soup. I got bone broth going in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, it finally hit the boiling point in the slow cooker. I'm like, that's right, soup tomorrow night for dinner. Yay, chicken soup.
Flu shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, when I make my chicken soup, my bone broth, there is 2 onions that are about that big, and I don't skin them nothing. I just chop them up because the skins have got a lot of vitamins in them. Just put these skins into, and 3 heads of proper Gosseton farm garlic. Not this fucking big ass genetically modified, but the little tiny little heads. I chop them up, stalks and all, into the pot.
That was all organic.
And about a handful of rosemary. So there you go.
That was all organic, by the way. And the chicken was, grass, well, whatever.
Free range, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, now that I'm starving, I'm going to have to go raid my pantry because I got soup cooking, which is making me more hungry. I'm going to have to find something to eat. Crackers for bedtime for me. Anyways, Johns, I love you. And I will see you Sunday for Comedy Central.
Looking forward to it, Danny.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Okay, guys. Oh, for you guys who want to sit around chit-chatting, fuck, where's Star? There he is. There's Star. Okay. Star, I am making you the host, so you guys can carry on chit-chatting if you wish. And I'm going to bed now. Good night.
Danny.
What?
He doesn't know he's host. He's not there.
That's okay. He'll find out when he gets back. You guys can all go, surprise!
Like a surprise meal.
That's right. A surprise meal and a flu shot for free. I mean, no, not like that. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, Danny.
That's one small step